Welcome to part 12.2 of Nuclear Dragon. If you encounter any issues or have feedback, please let me know in the comments rather than just disliking the video. Your input helps me improve, and I'm here to make sure you have the best experience possible. Enjoy the content.
Chapter 316. No need. I already know your strength. There is no need to continue fighting. Curator Shillong shook his head and refused. Really? Xylem frowned slightly, somewhat regretful. Brother Shillong, come to a duel with me. Next to him, Xiaoqi had a look of excitement, and his eyes were a little bright. I want to record a video, are you sure? Xylem raised an eyebrow and asked. It's okay. I just want to fight you with your eldest brother. Only by fighting someone as powerful as your elder brother can my spirit become stronger. It doesn't matter to leak information. Xiaoqi smiled. Really? That's good. Shillong looked at Xiaoqi with appreciation. The real strong should be so fearless. Fearfulness is not what the strong should be. Boy, you can definitely become the king of heaven in the future. Yes, is it? Xiaoqi blushed with praise. Hey, this is also my wish. When the curator Shillong on one side heard Ciro's words, he felt that the other party was despising him, and the corners of his mouth twitched a little. He glanced at the brain demon who was still on the field, and seemed to be ready to continue fighting, and said, Brother Shillong, as a strong, you can't just rely on a spirit. You must also have other partners with extraordinary strength. He decided to test whether Shillong had other powerful spirits. Although this brain man said that he was second in the opponent's hands, but this said that there is no basis. You make sense. Shillong nodded, then let the brain demon come back to him, took out the camera from his body and handed it to him. You can take a good shot of me later. I'll leave this battle to someone else. Yes, Your Majesty. I must perfectly photograph Your Majesty's brave posture of directing the battle and the crushing duel of his companions. The brain demon vowed to take the camera. Well, I heard that you used to be an up master before, so I don't worry about that. Xylem gave him a high degree of affirmation. Yes, for Your Majesty. I must do my best. The brain demon shouted loudly. The people on one side looked at the posture of Shillong and the brain demon. They all looked a little confused. Isn't this person a strange way of getting along? Saixia was the only one who asked herself again in her heart. Is the training method Xylem said before is correct? Otherwise, why is his spirit so obedient? Xiaoqi on one side was obviously a little bit disappointed when he heard that it was not the Queen of Brains. Hey, isn't it Mr. Shillong's psychic boy? Obviously so powerful. Is it Xiaolei? Pai. The lightning mouse, who was in Xiaoqi's arms, called out. Don't worry. I'm not going to be a weak character next time. While talking, Soren took out a ball of spirits and pressed the button above. Come out, ooze. A slime-like Q version of the slime monster appeared in front of Shillong. Woo. The ooze monster always remembered Shillong's instructions, only uttering simple syllables. Ooze monster, Curator Shillong said in surprise. This kind of creature, like the lightning rat, is a monster with a lower upper limit. It is a monster with more viewing and support than combat. I didn't expect you to make it appear on the stage, so this little thing must have something to do with it. Woo. The ooze whined a few times, slowly walked to the middle of the arena, on one side of the small equator. Since it is the spirit of Brother Shillong, then this must be a very powerful guy. We have to go all out. Is it Xiaolei? Skin. Lightning Strike Mouse screamed, and when he sprang up, he appeared in the arena, opposite the ooze monster. Okay, then I count down 3 times. The game will start directly. Curator Shillong said aside. But before he started the countdown, the brain demon on one side said, Wait, I haven't made the opening introduction yet. Huh. Everyone was taken aback, but the brain demon doesn't care about them. He uses his superpower to control the camera to the side of Xiaoqi and introduces, Dear viewers, hello everyone. The game we can see now. It is definitely the most exciting game in the world. None of them. Have you seen our little brother wearing a red cap? He is the famous king of the world. Okichi's son. Okichi. This is a super genius boy. Just now, he defeated the Shillong curator of Dragon King City. The strength is definitely not under his father. Huh. Curator Shillong was confused for the first time, and then a little angry said, Hey, don't talk nonsense. When did I lose to Xiaoqi? It's just the first game. The duel of the spirit masters has never been so counted. I didn't lose at all. Xiaoqi was also embarrassed to be praised, and waved his hands repeatedly. I am not as good as you said. I am far worse than my dad. The game with Uncle Shillong is not over yet. Hearing the words, the brain demon just glanced at Curator Shillong lightly. I will pinch off what you say. You want to make trouble. But please don't underestimate my skills. No matter when and where you interrupt, I can make everything you say disappear. You. Curator Shillong was very angry. Finally, he snorted and turned his head and stopped looking at him. The brain demon then filmed Shillong. At this time, Sira was straight, looking straight at the arena ahead, where the two elves were. There is an unspeakable momentum. The brain demon hurriedly introduced an Okichi's opponent. This tall and mighty figure looks unparalleled. The invincible man in the world of wisdom is a peerless master who walked out of the mountains. It can be said to be the #1 dark horse today. Previously, he had a private fight with the curator Shillong of the Dragon King City, and finally defeated the curator Shillong with a crushing force. Its strength is still above Omuchi in my opinion. Today is a duel. It is definitely an unprecedented battle of the century. When the brain demon speaks, it expresses affection and frustrates the yin and yang. It is the type that can easily arouse the emotions of the audience. The curator Shillong on one side was the first to be emotional. He angrily said, "Why is it me again? It was just a tentative test that was lost. Why does it seem to you that I lost a regular duel? Hateful. Don't talk nonsense. Dad, just shut up. You have lost both matches. There is nothing wrong with Cerebellars saying that." Hiwes said contemptuously. Why? Why even you said that about Dad? Dad obviously didn't lose. Curator Shillong was a little autistic. Okay, the two sides have already introduced. Looking at the spirits of the two sides, the Shillong player is a mutant ooze monster, and the Omuchi player is a lightning rat. Don't look down on them just because they are so small. The fight later will surely blow everyone's attention. Now I count 3. Let the two start the game. While speaking, the brain demon motioned to Xiaoqi again. Xiaoqi and the lightning rat on the opposite side nodded. With 3, 2, 1 falling. Skin. The lightning rat yelled, and a lightning bolt struck the ooze monster first. The ooze monster did not have the slightest defense, allowing the lightning to fall on its body, and the powerful black light kept flickering and violent on its body for a few seconds. When the thunder light disappeared, the ooze monster was full of smoke, but it seemed to be unharmed. Awesome! Curator Shillong couldn't help but exclaimed. This slime monster is really not for viewing and auxiliary use. Okay, that's amazing. Brother Shillong. Xiaoqi also exclaimed. But we won't lose. Are you Xiaolei? Skin. The lightning rat screamed, not waiting for it to act. The ooze monster spun in a posture they had never seen before, like a whirlwind of mud. Strips of black mud shot out like bullets. Skin. The lightning-struck rat reacted extremely quickly, splitting into 5 avatars in an instant, and shuttled in the torrential rain of mud liquid. But a piece of mud was not hit. It's useless. My Xiaolei, speed and dodge ability are specially trained. This level of attack cannot hit. Xiaoqi yelled. Part 2. Xiaolei, accumulate energy while avoiding. Use the hot lightning. Ooze monsters are most afraid of heat. Skin. As the lightning struck the mouse, it ignited a fiery red arc while avoiding it. This lightning mouse is indeed the child of King Zhitian. Have you mastered the changes in the nature of lightning? Curator Shillong exclaimed. Seeing this fiery red lightning slashed on the ooze monster, a crimson flame burned on its body. But soon, the body of the slime monster changed its color and finally turned into ice blue. The flame was extinguished instantly. Okay. So awesome. Xiaoqi sighed again, but Shillong frowned. Have you played enough? Hurry up and end the battle. Woo. Hearing Shillong's voice, the ooze monster stiffened. Oops, it was discovered by your majesty. I originally wanted to stay in this beautiful world for a while and play with this cute little mouse. But now there is no chance. Cute little mouse. At the time of parting, let me offer you my gift. The whole body of the ooze monster stood up, and a large amount of translucent liquid began to spray out of it. The entire arena was sprayed everywhere by it. After a few waves of liquid, the lightning strike rat landed directly on the transparent liquid because there was no place to land, and as a result, it was directly stuck to its limbs. Xiaolei, break free. Xiaoqi shouted. Skin. Lightning strike mouse struggled hard, and it was firm with the clay under its feet. Woo. After the ooze monster screamed, the fluid underneath turned into legs. Suddenly bounce, swish towards the lightning rat, until the lightning strikes the mouse completely. The corner of Xiaoqi's mouth on one side suddenly showed a smile. You are fooled. Since long-range lightning strikes don't work, so Xiaolei, use short-range lightning strikes to defeat it. Use maximum power lightning. A few seconds later, there was no reaction in the slime monster's body. Xiaoqi was stunned slightly. What's the matter? Xiaolei, use the maximum power lightning strike. I know you won't be defeated so easily. Still no response. Finally, the slime monster withdrew from the lightning striker. What appeared in front of the crowd was a pitiful mouse that collapsed on the ground and had no godless eyes. Its belly is protruding a lot. The cheeks are full of bulging, and all of them are some white and yellow soft waxy things. There is also a pile around the body. It's like being broken. Xiaoqi was shocked when he saw his beloved lightning mouse turned into this appearance and ran over quickly. Regardless of what those soft things are, he directly picked up the lightning mouse and shouted, "Xiao Lei! Xiao Lei! Are you okay, Xiao Lei?" But the mouse still did not respond to the lightning strike, staring at the ceiling blankly. Others on the side also rushed over. Curator Hailong and Saixia frowned slightly, but Haiyue's face turned red. She glanced at the ooze monster, then at Shillong. Her eyes flashed with unknown light. Brother Shillong, what did your slime monster do to my lightning rat? Why did it become like this?" Xiaoqi looked at Shillong pitifully. Shillong raised his eyebrows. "My ooze is kind of hospitable. It fed your lightning mouse some bananas." "Banana?" Xiaoqi was taken aback, then buckled a little banana meat on the lightning rat and put it in his mouth. "Huh? It's really banana meat. But why does Xiao Lei look like he's been hit hard?" He couldn't understand, and looked at the ooze monster on one side in surprise. The ooze monster pulled the corner of his mouth, made a smiling face, separated a hand, and gave Xiaoqi a thumbs up. "It seems that besides, how does my banana taste?" Xiaoqi froze, and said with a thumbs up, "It tastes good." The ooze nodded at him. "Your lightning mouse should be supported, and it will be better after a while." Xylem said. Xiaoqi nodded. The two continued to fight, but Xiaoqi failed to defeat the ooze monster in 3 straight defeats. He regretted, "Brother Shillong, this monster of yours is really amazing. Where is the number 1 in your place? Third, is it weaker than the psychic boy?" Xiaoqi muttered to himself, and immediately said full of blood, "It's a pity that this place is a bit too small, and my trump card cannot be expanded here. Brother Shillong, 1 year later, let us decide the winner in the World Championship. At that time, it will really go all out. I gave up this decisive battle." "Good." Xylem nodded and agreed. Others congratulated him. "What a wonderful game. As expected of Brother Xylem, not only defeated my father, but also defeated the son of King Jitian. I love you more and more." Haiyue's eyes lit up on one side. Yeah, don't say that. Dad is not a loss at all." Curator Hailong felt a little uncomfortable. "Since the duel is over, then I will leave first." Xylem said. "Don't do this. Brother Xylem, come to my house with Xiaoqi tonight." Haiyue said. "No, I have to go to the next city to collect badges, but there is no time to delay." Xylem refused. Without waiting for Haiyue to say anything, he turned and left. Haiyue wanted to chase, but a transparent wall blocked her. That is the psychic barrier of the brain demon. He floated in the air, made a grimace at Haiyue, and followed Silin with a smile. Only Haiyue's crying face was left yelling behind. After a while, her yellow-haired sister did not know when she appeared beside Haiyue and patted her on the shoulder. Exclaimed, "What? Lost in love?" "Yes. Yeah. I just started this. How come it's over? You said I am so beautiful, so rich. How could he not be fascinated by me?" Haiyue said pitifully. "He might like men." "No, he said he doesn't like men either. People who like men will admit it in front of you? Don't think so much, come and smoke a cigarette, forget you're him," Huang Mon said, handing Haiyue a female cigarette. "Oh." After Haiyue took it, Huang Mon lit her aside. Then they clicked on one as well, and the 2 women silently looked at the back of Xylem away from the gate. Behind them, Xiaoqi, Saixia and Curator Hailong looked at each other. "Do you two need to be so exaggerated?" After leaving Hailong Daoguan, Shillong asked the brain demon born of the former Up Master to refine the video and upload it to major online platforms. The response is naturally good, especially when identifying their identities. Both sides are strong men who defeated the Hailong Curator. But when the 2 powerhouses fought against each other, Shillong defeated the legendary son of King Jitian with overwhelming strength. The cheap, low combat spirits that are used are the ooze monsters. This naturally attracted the attention of ordinary compatriots. You know, although everyone in this world is a spirit master, but the strengths are distinct. There is only one spirit in more than 80%, and this spirit is still a commodity of low combat effectiveness. They are just ordinary spirit masters who follow the trend and raise spirits like pets. It's not that they don't want to be the same as that kind of regular people, but their economic strength does not allow them to buy multiple spirits and spirit balls. So they can only envy those professional masters. There are a variety of powerful spirits, and they only have ordinary cheap spirits. Originally, most people would worship those professional powerhouses, such as the King of Heaven, Curator, etc., because of their nature to worship the powerhouse. But now, many of them began to worship Shillong. The reason is naturally because Shillong gave them hope. Be weak and strong. It fully shows that there are no weak spirits, only weak spirit masters. Then, while many people admired Shillong, they also ignited the dream of a professional wizard. Start training your own spirits frantically. Of course, these people will never know that what they see is actually extremely poisonous chicken soup. Part 3. Although hard work is indeed useful, the limit is still too great. Among them, Perhaps only 1 in 10,000 can achieve a little achievement in the field of spirits. But these people will not regret it, because they have achieved success compared to the past. For this reason, Shillong discovered that his daily income of faith reached 3 million in just one day. On the second day, the daily income of faith was 3.3 million. Until the fifth day, reaching 3.6 million, it was considered that the upward trend stopped. This made Shillong extremely surprised. How high is the worship of human beings in this world? For this, he praised the brain demon severely and promised to improve his strength by the end of the year. This naturally makes the brain demon thank you very much. Then Synopsis wanted to continue to challenge the curator of the gymnasium and other strong players to post videos, but unfortunately all those guys kept their strength. Will not challenge at all. Not to mention letting Shillong shoot the video. Don't you see what Curator Shillong is like now? Many people from other places have never heard of the name of Curator Shillong and know him. This was originally a pleasant thing, but Curator Shillong couldn't be happy, because every time someone mentions him, they will add 2 sentences in front, such as, "Oh, you said that the Sea Dragon Curator who was defeated by the son of King Jitian, Shao Qi, and the master of the strongest ooze monster?" After saying these few words, "Are you angry?" It made him feel that the eyes of the students in the gym are weird. And his daughter. Recently, I kept watching the videos of Shillong's boy at home repeatedly, always saying handsome, cool. What? It made him even more uncomfortable. It is said that Shillong had collected 10 gymnasium badges in 1 month. There is no difficulty encountered in this. All battles are crushed. After he became famous, he came to the second gymnasium and was surrounded by people. Even if he didn't fight with the curator-level figures of the gymnasium, a large number of people filmed his battle and posted it on the internet spontaneously. For this, when he won 10 badges, the daily faith came to 4 million. In the following time, Shillong did not stay in this world honestly and participate in the World Series. Instead, he returned to the Alliance Star. He felt that he had waited for a year in vain, and he might as well explore other worlds first. Maybe this year would be enough for him to conquer a world. He chose a desert island in the sea, and then started exploring with a group of executed prisoners. Open the portal and send in the death row prisoners one by one. Shillong promised that as long as they came back immediately after entering, their sins would be greatly reduced, and most people would be innocent. If they do not return for more than 10 minutes, close the channel and let them fend for themselves in another world. Another world, on a planet shrouded in gray mist. It was the dark night, the black fog was surging, and the dark purple moon high in the sky exuded a magical brilliance. The strands of light shining on this planet shrouded in black mist. There is a strange and terrifying. A man wearing a commoner and ragged clothes, perhaps because he rarely shines on the sun, looks unusually pale, and ran forward staggeringly. His eyes were full of horror. The legs are shaking badly. He was in the dark fog, with a visibility of only 10 meters. While running away, he looked back from time to time. In the black fog, a horrible figure loomed, always hanging behind the escaped man, unhurriedly or slowly. "No, don't come, you devil. Why? Why don't so many people choose me in the village? I just chose me. Why?" The man yelled in horror. Wuxia World. Online, the running man was named Yellow Dog, was originally a villager in a small village, where there were only 40 or 50 households. The small village is almost isolated from the world, and everyone is self-sufficient. They did not have the guts to leave the village, whether it was night or day, because of the devil. This is passed down from generation to generation from the old population of the village. Legend has it that in the dark, the devil will come out for food. They like to swallow humans. Whether it is human flesh or liver, it is their favorite food. All those who do not stay in the house in the dark will be taken away by the devil and swallowed. Chapter 317. This is what he heard from a very young age. Before the age of 10, I always thought it was a legend. But when he was 10 years old, his father still stayed in the fields to work in the dark. This was very common, because his father usually did this. But that day was very unusual. He was waiting for his father with his mother in the house. They did not wait for their father's arrival, but they heard his father's call for help from a distance. He wanted to open the door to see what his father had encountered, but was held back by his mother. I still remember my mother quickly extinguished all the lights and blocked the door of the room with tables and chairs. He wanted to ask what was going on, but his mother was holding his mouth tightly, making him unable to make a sound. He turned his head laboriously, and in the dark environment, he could barely see his mother's frightened and distorted face at the time. There was a loud knock on the door, and the sound of father begging to open the door. But the mother did not reply. She even deliberately lowered the sound of her breathing and covered his nose and mouth. The whole body was also blocked by the door of the room. The knock on the door was louder. Father's words seemed particularly anxious, until the last weird laugh. Accompanied by his father's screams, the knock on the door stopped abruptly, and the outside world calmed down. That night, my mother didn't sleep all night, and he was in her mother's arms, and he didn't sleep all night, feeling her mother's trembling body. Until the next day comes. When the blue sun rose in the sky and his mother opened the door, he saw everything at the door. It was full of blood, some meat and bone scraps, and some remnants of internal organs. The mother cried like a breakdown and vomited while crying. He didn't know why his mother was crying, but the mother cried so fiercely, and the yellow puppy also cried. It was not until later that he knew that the scum and bone scum were the remains of his father. For a long time, a large group of villagers gathered outside, and they looked at the pool of blood in fear. Some old people in the village said in horror, "This is the devil. The devils who eat people are here again." The villagers showed fear and anxiety on their faces. Some people wanted to escape because of the appearance of the devil, but the old people discouraged them, saying that if they escape, they are more likely to encounter the devil at night. Will definitely die on the road. The village seems to have restored its original appearance, but the villagers are no longer as stable as before, and their expressions have been terrified. My mother started to work on the ground. She was tired every day, but as soon as night fell, she would immediately return home and lock the door. Days passed day by day, until 3 months later. The screams of horror rang out again, and in this small village with only dozens of families, it seemed particularly clear. After a scream, everything was calm again. The next morning, he saw all the villagers gathered at the door of a family, which was Wang Xiaonu's house. Is one of his always playmates. He squeezed the crowd and looked inside. The same horrible scene as when his father died reappeared. Wang Xiaonu and his father kept vomiting while crying. Later he learned that it was Wang Xiaonu's mother who died. I heard that Wang Xiaonu's family was sleeping well that night. But suddenly, Wang Xiaonu's mother got up. Wang Xiaonu's father thought she was going to urinate, but he didn't care too much. In the end, she saw Wang Xiaonu's name constantly whispering, opened the door and walked out. Wang Xiaonu's father was frightened in an instant and immediately went to the ground, trying to bring his wife back. But when he came to the door, he was stunned. In the darkness, he saw a pair of dark purple eyes. This eye is very big, twice the size of the average person, staring at his wife in a daze. When Wang Xiaonu's father appeared at the door, he turned his head to look at him. The drama king Xiaonu's father said that he was scared to pee. As if seeing hell, an indescribable fear occupied Wang Xiaonu's father's heart. He almost instinctively closed the door, and then kept breathing depressive breath. Finally heard that scream. Even living in a house at night is not safe. The villagers panicked again. Someone started to flee, but the next day, the body of that person would appear at the door of the village. This corpse is different from the two previously eaten by the devil. The body actually remained quite intact. Only the meat on the thighs was gnawed away, and the part of the heart was missing the heart. The old man in the village said that it was a warning from the devil, warning his own food not to leave its granary without authorization. This time I left so much body, but the devil was a little full yesterday, so I only ate some of its favorite parts. This made the people in the village even more disturbed, and they did not dare to go out at will. Every 3 months thereafter, one person will die. There is no rule, completely random. Fear is spreading, and no one knows whether he will be the next hapless person. Soon someone crashed in this situation. His mother was one of them, and her mother made an appointment with several others and ran away together. There were 10 people who fled this time, but unfortunately, they all died too. Everyone's body was better. Only a hole was opened in the chest, and the heart was missing. This time the devil didn't even eat the meat of their thighs. The yellow puppy's mother died like this. The people in the village are even more afraid. The travel quotient that usually comes every 6 months never reappeared. The panic continued for more than half a year, and finally the demon disappeared for some reason, and the village returned to tranquility. But then, someone organized people to flee, thinking that the village was no longer safe. Ignored the old people's dissuasion. I went to the village called Sheyue village, which is the closest to the old population. The yellow puppy thought they would never come back, but he didn't expect that after a long time, they fled and returned. The original 8-person team is missing 3. It is said to have been eaten by wild beasts. Those beasts are taller than people. When I saw them, I pounced on them. One of them was killed by the beast, and the other 2 separated from them when they fled. According to the old people in the village, those are not ordinary beasts, but monsters infected by the devil. Most of them live in the wilderness and feed on any animals, humans, and plants. But the favorite among them is human beings. They are pets raised by the devil, and they are used to guard food to escape and set up. Everyone had no intention of escape and lived in the village honestly. In this way, 7 smooth years have passed. Just when everyone thought the devil would not come back, the yellow puppy was sleeping, but in a daze, he heard the call of his dead mother. As if caught in a devil, he opened the door of the room and followed the voice out of the village, and then he became sober. He found himself in the dark suburbs. There was black fog all around, making him unable to see everything 10 meters away. But behind him, there was always a pair of terrifying eyes watching him, and the yellow puppy knew that it was the devil. They are back. This prompted him to run nonstop. Nonstop running. It was only then that he shouted that sentence. No! Don't come, you devil! Why? Why are so many people in the village not choosing me? I chose me. Why? I don't want to die. Please, please let me go. He was scared and unwilling, but he was more helpless. The devil behind him would not answer him, and even if he felt that his chest and abdomen were ignited by a flame, burning his lungs, he did not dare to stop his feet. Has been running nonstop, until he appeared in front of him, a strange elliptical unknown. Then, in this thing, a human with a yellower skin appeared. Part 2. He was a little surprised after seeing him, but when he saw him behind, he became a little frightened and quickly retracted. A spark named Hope appeared in the yellow puppy's desperate eyes, and he suddenly used the power of his whole body to dive into the strange thing. But the eyes behind him, after staring at the door for a moment, let out an unwilling roar and disappeared. This devil, on this strange thing, felt something terrifying. The other side of the door, the mountain-like dragon squatted halfway in front of the portal, and a pair of dragon eyes full of golden particles stared at the portal. There are also Duan Tianhao, Brain Demon, and other demonized people beside him. Shillong used the strongest posture to deal with enemies that might appear at any time. Prior to this, he had sent 42 death row prisoners, and without exception, none of them returned. This is no wonder. After all, there are too few planets with life on the outer planes. Compared with the broad cosmic sky, Shillong even planned to wait for hundreds of times. But he didn't expect the 43rd death row prisoner to ran back directly from the portal. His expression was a little flustered, and he kept shouting for monsters. Ran directly behind the Brain Demon and others. Seeing this situation, Shillong's expression became more serious. There should be an enemy coming. Just as he was preparing to deal with the enemy, a pale figure appeared from the portal. Is this a human? White skin. However, it looked similar to the Asian face of Blue Star. When the yellow puppy came to the opposite side of the door, he found that he was surrounded by a huge shadow, which seemed to be a big mountain, extremely dark. At the foot of the mountain, there was the person who appeared suddenly and ran away. There are also a few scary-looking monsters. Seeing these monsters, the yellow puppy screamed and collapsed to the ground as soon as his legs were soft. His heart was filled with despair, and he never dreamed that there was a monster on the opposite side of the door. Is this the devil? Each one actually looks different. That little devil has such a big head, and those demons that look as big as small houses. Just looking at it makes the yellow puppy terrified. Why? Why? I am so unlucky. Why would I die here? The yellow dog whimpered. No, don't eat me. I don't want to die. He issued such a pleading. Eat you? Don't worry, there is no human option in my recipe. Welcome you, humans in another world. A huge roar came from high above. The yellow puppy instinctively looked up. His head was almost 90 degrees looking up at the sky before he saw the huge dragon head. While seeing the monster clearly, the yellow puppy made a weird cry, and his heart stopped beating instantly. He, scared to death, dead. Xylem looked at the dead yellow puppy corpse in surprise. The world over the door. Are human beings so timid? I've already reduced my breath or scared him to death. Your Majesty, how dare mortals look straight at your majestic face, said the Brain Demon. Sad mortal, let me revive you. Xylem spoke and immediately used the godhead of the Lord of Dawn, but unfortunately, the dead yellow puppy did not respond. Shillong looked carefully and found that the soul in the opponent's body had disappeared. What's this? Is another world repulsing each other? If you die in another world, your soul will be directly annihilated by the will of the world? Shillong said to himself. He was so guessing. After he sent the Brain Demon and others, he went straight into the side of the door alone. Looking at the dark purple moon high in the sky and the surrounding fog, he found that even if these fogs were for him, they would cause a great disturbance to his vision, making him only able to see things around 10 kilometers away. Only a small village on the west side can be seen. Without hesitation, Shillong went directly to the village. This village is the village of the Yellow Dog. At this time, in a wooden house, an extremely terrifying scene happened. A head is as big as an average person's body, with a split mouth, and a jagged monster lying on a man's body and constantly gnawing. The man under him has died long ago. The door of the wooden house was wide open. In the corner of the wooden house, there was a 12 or 13-year-old girl, holding her knees tightly, looking at the scene in front of her with expressionless expression. She is the daughter of a gnawed man. Click. The click of chewing sound kept ringing. Damn me. I dared to escape from my hand. I was so humiliated. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. The devil murmured continuously while devouring the meat. It glanced at the girl in the corner from the corner of its eyes. Poor little tender meat. There is obviously no one who wants to eat your father today, but who told the previous piece of meat to run away. Don't worry, you are a good piece of meat. I will wait until you grow up to taste it. Ha 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 ha. The little girl hadn't spoken. Her eyes looked at the gnawed corpse blankly, dumbfounded. Why is there a devil in the world? Why does the devil want to eat people? Why do people eat vegetables? Eat chicken and duck? Why? Father is going to be eaten? Why are we humans the food of the devil? Why don't uncles and uncles come to save father? Why is this world so terrible? Why do people live in this world? Why is all this? There is so much why in the girl's heart. Yu reading www.yuukayongshu.com. She kept thinking. Time passed slowly in the devil's gnawing sound, until a slight footstep sounded gradually from the door of the room. In this quiet place, there was no sound except the sound of gnawing. Both the little girl and the devil heard the sound. The devil paused the meat-eating mouth and showed a weird smile. Chapter 318. The little girl looked at the door blankly. What appeared at the wooden door was an unseen shoe that looked very beautiful. Then she saw what the owner of this shoe looked like. He was a long, very tall elder brother, who was much stronger than his father, and his eyes were blocked by two dark objects. It seems to see something disgusting, the big brother standing at the door said. His voice sounded a little indifferent. He. Crouching next to the corpse, the big-headed devil, who had stopped gnawing, turned his whole head 180 degrees, looking directly at the tall man behind him. After looking up and down, it sneered, "Meat? You should be afraid of me. The way you are now makes me annoying." It was talking, and the red glow rose in its huge eyes. "I want to hear your screaming in fear." Ka. This big-headed devil only felt black in front of his eyes, as if being lifted by something. How is this going? Why can't I see people? I was pinched by something? Your eyes are really ugly. You don't deserve to look directly at me with such ugly eyes. The voice of the man who appeared suddenly remained indifferent. The big head demon suddenly reacted. I was grabbed by the meat before? The devil's heart was instantly flooded with violence, and his head was pinched by meat. What a shame. Hanging on both sides of the body, the bursting arms of blue veins instantly ejected a pair of sharp blades and slashed towards the man's arms. Clang accompanied by a crisp sound. The arms of the big-headed devil shook, and the blade in his hand broke. And the big-head devil cried out in pain. It reacted instantly that the other party was not a human at all, but a devil like it. But it's obviously a devil. Why doesn't it have the same kind of breath? You fellow, let me go. I am the devil under the great demon of Angoda. This is also my prey circle. Are you attacking me like this, provoking His Highness Angoda? The big-head devil yelled angrily. Devil? Can you tell me what a devil is? The other party asked. What do you mean by that? Are you not the devil? The big-headed devil was a little surprised. Of course. You bastard. What are you kidding me? In this world, besides us the devil, only humans have advanced wisdom. Do you think I would believe that you are a meat? Meat can't hold my head. But after not being cut by me, my arm was unscathed. The big-head devil said, Don't use your barren brain to talk about my noble miracle of life. Indifferent words came. The big-head devil felt that the palm of his head was tight, and a huge force came, making it feel like its head was about to be squeezed. It's me asking you now, not you asking me and answering my question. Gahahaha. Asshole. Are you fooling the great devil, Moroth? The noble miraculous life? Gahahaha. The big-headed devil didn't even let out a mocking laugh because of the other's tightened palm. Ha ha ha. Accompanied by the man's sneer, a terrible bone crack sounded. The right arm of the big-headed devil was twisted into twists by an invisible force, and all the bones inside became powder. And after the big-head devil screamed, his face was flushed. Gahahaha. The great Morosi is not afraid of pain. Pain is a rare enjoyment, hee. The big-head demon laughed. After a while, it even put out its tongue and licked its lips and said, No matter what kind of creature you are, this world belongs to our devil. It doesn't matter whether you want to torture me or kill me. I will be resurrected in the magic pool soon. I remember your smell. Just wait. I will soon make you regret that you provoke your majesty Moros. Gahahaha. Resurrection? No wonder you are not afraid of death. The indifferent voice murmured, and then the nose moved a few times. I smelled a very strange smell on your body. This smell is hidden in your body. Among. It's really interesting. It actually aroused my indifferent appetite for many years, which is good. You like to eat people. If I eat them, there should be no problem, right? You want to eat me? The big-headed devil was taken aback for a moment, and then became angry. Bastard! What do you think you are? Actually want to devour the noble devil? The great existence at the top of the world's food chain? You are looking for a dead end. Just wait. Wait for the great demon of Angoda to find you. We'll let you know the horror of the devil. Gahaha. I have begun to look forward to how wonderful you are. At the end, the big-headed devil actually laughed again, and the blush on his face became more intense. It's really a healthy, active, and delicious ingredient. The taste of this ingredient should be the best. The man was talking, suddenly letting go of his big hand. The big-headed devil took this opportunity to finally see why the other party could obscure its vision and hold its head with one hand. I saw the arm that was supposed to be a human, but I don't know when it has become a dark beast arm covered with scales. This arm is about the same size as his body. The void suddenly split, and tentacles emerged, tightly wound around the limbs of the devil with the big head, making it unable to move. Miscellaneous. What do you want to do to the great Moros? It's all in vain. The great devil will not fear any death and torture. Shoo. The man in front of him put a finger in front of his mouth and made a silent gesture. Then a sharp nail was slowly tapped on its belly, and with a light stroke, the belly was cut open. Hungry. The devil cried out in pain. Dark purple blood rolled down in the stomach that was cut open. I saw the man in front of him gently cut his stomach and grabbed his stomach pouch. Then he showed a surprised look. It's a strange body structure. There is only a stomach pouch in the stomach, and there are no other organs. It's still heavy inside. Is that the human being that hasn't been digested yet? Crap. Put my stomach bag back. Don't touch it with your dirty hands. The big-headed devil has become more irritable than before. Even if he was tortured, the devil, who was still not afraid or frightened at all, was a little panicked. The devil's stomach pouch is a magical organ, an organ on which they live, grow, and are proud. It is also the most sacred organ in their eyes. The mirror that the big-head devil is facing now is like a human being stripped of his pants and being played with by an extremely annoying guy. How can this be called the big-head devil not angry? But the man in front of him didn't pay any attention. He tore down his stomach fiercely, causing the big-headed devil to let out a terrible scream, and then continued to empty his chest. This looks much cleaner. The man said to himself, Meat. Damn meat. You dare to tear my stomach bag off. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. I'm going to kill you. Kill you. The devil roared, struggling with limbs. But the tentacles that bind it are extremely tough. The more it struggles, the tighter it is bound. I'm used to emptying out the internal organs of the food before tasting it. It's too dirty, the man said. He stretched out a palm and pulled it on the devil's arm, pulling the whole arm off directly. Then, under the gaze of the big-headed devil, the edge of the mouth cracked, all the way to the heel of the ear. The man put his arm in his mouth, clicked, and swallowed his entire arm in a few mouthfuls in front of his face. Then he exclaimed, I didn't expect you to look bad, but it tastes good, with a beefy taste. Well, if you taste it carefully, it should be very chewy. The most important thing is that after eating an arm, I actually gained the power of faith. Sure enough, my hunch is right. You devil is a rare delicacy. Scourge. You scourge. Actually swallowed my arm. This kind of humiliation. I am 1,000 years. I will never forget it for 10,000 years. Wait, I will let you today the humiliation I have suffered. The revenge of thousands of times come back. The big-headed devil roared. There was anger in the eyes, but in the deepest layer, there was something called fear that it did not know. The big-headed devil kept clamoring, but the man in front of it didn't pay any attention to it until it swallowed its entire body. Part 2. The big-head devil is dead. The man muttered to himself, yes, swallowing a demon, adding 40,000 faith power. I am more interested in this world. The corner of his eye cast aside the little girl who was still squatting in the corner. The man did not speak, and lay on the owner's wooden bed and closed his eyes to rest. Nor did he deal with the man's body that had been eaten in half. The little girl kept looking at the man like this, did not speak, nor escaped from the door. Wait until the sun rises the next day. The man opened his eyes. There were a lot of bloodshot eyes in the little girl at this time, and she was a little sluggish, but when she saw the man waking up, she opened the mouth and said, Big brother, are you human? Her voice is low and hoarse, like two pieces of sandpaper rubbing against each other, which is very similar to her childish and cute appearance. No, the man replied. Is that the devil? The little girl asked again. Nor. What is the big brother? Why can the big brother eat the devil? I am Dragon God. What is Dragon God? Dragon is a powerful creature at the top of the food chain. It can devour everything in the world, including the devil. And God is the great life that saves the suffering world. When human beings live in and long for a bright world, God will come to fulfill man's wishes. The man said, Is the elder brother the dragon who came after hearing my wish? The little girl's eyes moved a little bit. I heard the voices of all human beings in this world, and came to me, praying to Shillong Soderbergh, believe in me, worship me, and I will realize your desire to eradicate the devil. Claiming to be Shillong Soderbergh, Dragon God said so. It turns out that Big Brother Dragon God's name is Shillong Soderbergh. What a strange name. My name is Hu Shaodai. This is the name my father gave me. My father is a very good person, but was eaten by the devil yesterday. The little girl Hu Xiaodia's voice is still flat, as if he has no emotions. Because people are too weak. Xylem was speaking, standing at the door. The sky was just bright, and the blue sun was shining on the earth. There is still mist around the village, but it was much better than at night. At least Shillong can now see things within tens of kilometers. This small village has woken up at this time. Many men and women have already walked out of the door, stalking each other. They heard the screams last night. At this time, a person was panicked. They knew that the devil who had been away for many years might come to this village again. When they saw Shillong walking out of Hu Xiaodia's wooden house, they were a little surprised. No one has seen this face of life. A group of people gathered around immediately. One of the old people said, "This little brother, who are you? Where do you come from?" "My name is Shillong Soderberg and I come from a faraway place." "Have you? Didn't you meet a monster in the wild?" the old man asked in a low voice. "Warcraft? What is that?" "That is the servant of the devil, will swallow travelers in the wild. A very terrible monster." The old man explained. "The devil? Is the devil again? Everything in your world seems to be related to the devil. Can you tell me what the devil is?" Xylem asked. "You don't know the devil?" The old man was a little surprised. "Impossible. How could anyone in this world do not know the devil?" "Look, brother, you are not too young. Haven't you ever met a devil when you grew up so old? You can actually pass through the wilderness between the villages." "I only know that the devil seems to eat people. I really don't know the others," Xylem said. When talking about cannibalism, Shillong found that the complexions of these people turned paler. "Yes. Yeah. The devil can eat people," someone panicked. "Then how did the devil come? Does anyone here know?" Xylem asked. Everyone looked at wuxuworld.online, but none of them answered. "No one in our village knows this question. I asked Shillong's old man before. I am 70 years old this year, and I am the oldest person in our village. When I was a child, I asked the oldest elder in the village. But no one can answer this question. Just like how people come, no one can answer how the devil comes. Why cannibalism? That's really a pity. It seems that I have to find the answer myself." Xylem shook his head with some regret and went straight to the fence at the entrance of the village. It is used to protect against beast attacks and to resist the devil. Of course, it is actually useless for the devil, but it can resist ordinary beasts. Chapter 319. Brother, what are you doing? Don't do stupid things. There is a devil out there. You have not met once or twice. This is your luck. But people cannot always be lucky. The wild is too dangerous. Why not stay here temporarily?" The old man hurriedly spoke and leaned on a cane to walk towards Shillong, trying to stop him. "Old man, I appreciate your kindness, but I am not afraid of the devil." Xylem continued on without turning his head. Before the old man continued to speak, Hu Xiaodai suddenly rushed out of the wooden house and rushed towards Shillong. "Brother Shillong, wait for me. I want to go with you." "Oh Xiaodai, what are you doing? Stop it quickly. Do you want to go to the wild to die? Have you forgotten the 3 uncles and aunts who disappeared 5 years ago? Where is your father? How can you make a little girl such a fool?" The old man drank. Several adults around him immediately set off to stop Hu Xiaodai. But the following words from Hu Xiaodai stopped these people's feet. "Father was eaten by the devil yesterday. Didn't you hear his cry for help? Why do you still ask me this question?" "It turns out yesterday's attendance and cry for help were indeed his father's," someone murmured. "Then what about the residue left after his father was eaten by the devil?" Someone did not ask. They had searched around the village before, but didn't find it at all. They thought they had heard it wrong last night. Now that Hu Xiaodai said so, he continued to look for it. Soon, someone who entered the wooden house exclaimed, "Yes, here. Woo wow." As soon as he finished speaking, there was a sound of vomiting. Others hurriedly walked over and saw Hu Xiaodia's father. At this time, only half of the body was left, lying in the clotting blood scab. Next to the corpse, there was a huge stomach pouch. This stomach pouch was not human at first glance. It was dark purple and larger than the average human body. Inside was the other half of Hu Xiaodia's father's body. What is this? Someone was afraid. "This stomach bag is not human," the old man in the village said. "It may be the devil." "Devil? How could the devil leave his stomach pouch here? This devil should have been killed. His stomach has been cut off." The old man looked solemn. The devil was killed? The villager was stunned. Did it kill each other? It is possible, but it is more likely to be killed by someone. The old man was talking, and he had come outside the house, watching Xylem, who had opened the fence door and walked outside and whispered, "People? How can people kill the devil? The village chief. Are you kidding me? If people can kill the devil, our previous brothers and sisters will not die." The villager said sadly, "Human can kill the devil." The village head's eyes revealed memories. "I've seen this kind of people many years ago. Only one ultra-rare existence is possible in 10,000 people. Whether it is us people or demons, they all call them demon hunters. Shillong walked indifferently on the deserted ground. Behind him, followed by a thin figure, she was Hu Xiaodai. Been walking for 10 minutes. Shillong said, "Why have you been following me? My father is dead. The devil in your village, I have eaten it. You should be safe. Why follow me?" "Because I want to watch Brother Shillong eat all those demons one by one." "Oh." Xylem was a little surprised at the little girl's answer. His previous eating response should be very scary. Most people will definitely be scared to pee when they see it, but the little girl in front of him, if not afraid, is still interested? What is this? Can you appreciate his ubiquitous speciality and taste? Shillong cast an admiring look at the little girl. "Yes. You can find out my different food aesthetics from the horror and horror in the appearance. It seems that you are very talented. Okay, you can see if you want, but I won't protect it. Don't blame me for being dead." After Shillong finished speaking, he turned and left. Question mark. Hu Xiaodai looked at Shillong blankly. What kind of food aesthetics? But letting her follow, it made her remember. The pace quickened, and the little girl followed again. It's less than 2 kilometers away. Shillong saw a huge black dog, one size bigger than a tiger, chasing from one side. Its eyes flashed with dark purple light, its nose was wrinkled high, and there was excitement in its eyes. The slightly open mouth was even more drooling. That's an ordinary dog. What it looks like after seeing the food. Woo wow. The bulldog roared from a distance. The huge roar stunned Hu Xiaodai and rushed over. Until the distance was less than half a meter, the stench in the huge mouth of the bulldog even sprayed on Hu Xiaodia's face. But Hu Xiaodia's complexion only turned pale, and then she saw the bulldog in front of her wailing. Her body turned a corner and flew directly into Shillong's palm. The huge palms were pinched on the neck of the bulldog. Oh, oh. The fierce dog whimpered a few times, and his eyes were still fierce, without any fear. The whole body was struggling, and it used its fairly long hind limbs to push Shillong vigorously. But every time it was resisted by a transparent wall. Shillong loosened the palm of the opponent's neck slightly and asked, "Are you also the devil? I also have a good smell on my body, although it is very light." "Oh, oh." The fierce dog yelled fiercely again. "Why? Can't you speak?" "Oh, oh." "Then there is no need to keep you," Shillong said, pressing his hand slightly. Click. The bulldog's head dropped directly and lost his breath. "Well, it's time for tasting next. This dirty dog hair is really unappetizing. Shave the hair first." As Ciro spoke, an orange-red flame ignited on his hand, and he began to scald his hair, then dig out the internal organs and chewed directly. This magic dog, the meat quality is still very good, enough flavor. Just when Shillong was eating demon dog meat, he heard a swallowing sound. Turning his head to look, I saw the little girl Hu Xiaodai staring at him and the magic dog meat in her hand. There was a desire in the eyes. Desire? Xylem glanced at the dog meat. He didn't even grill it with fire, so he could see his saliva. This little girl really has enough taste. He pulled off a hind leg and handed it over. "Eat." "Thank you, Brother Shillong." After Hu Xiaodai took it, he said thank you, and then his whole head went up and chewed. Raising his head occasionally, his mouth is covered with dark purple bloodshot eyes. Humph. Shillong looked at the scene in front of him with interest, but immediately, the little girl let out a miserable cry, and the dog legs in her hands fell to the ground. Ah! A lot of sweat appeared on my body, due to severe pain. Is this? Xylem was shocked by the incident, immediately reacted again. Is it because of the special power of belief contained in these magic objects? Can't mortals absorb it? He guessed while watching silently. The pain lasted for more than 10 minutes, and finally, the little girl survived. Her lips were a little chapped because of the body sweating too much. Shillong then condensed a ball of water in the air, which floated in front of the little girl. "Drink. Your previous pain should be too weak as a human body to withstand the normal reaction of the energy contained in the devil's flesh. Do not eat the rest of the meat." "Thank you, Brother Shillong." Hu Xiaodai said thank you weakly. After taking a few sips of water, he recovered a little bit of strength, and immediately grabbed a side of the dirty dog's hind leg and took a bite. "Oh, oh, ah." And then she began to tsanhao up on the ground. Shillong raised his eyebrows while watching. Is this girl quite persevering? Why are you so persistent with this piece of meat? Is it because this piece of meat is my gift? Part 2. Well, that's probably the case. Shillong recalled that he was an alliance star, and there were a lot of people rushing for the leftovers. This is the food gifted by the dragon god. It's normal for mortals to care so much. Seeing Hu Xiaodia's constant screams in place, Shillong's appetite suddenly became better. It's really touching. Even if you die, you have to eat the meat that I have given you. Is this kind of awareness that ordinary people can have? Talent. This little girl has the enlightenment of a brain demon at a young age. It's really rare. He took another bite of meat, and Xylem admired it silently. After another 10 minutes or so, Hu Xiaodai survived. Shillong recovered her injury again and let her hydrate again. The little girl continued to bite off a piece of meat fiercely, then howled for 6 to 7 minutes. Then Shillong continued to regain his strength and fed water. After repeating this 5 times, the little girl finally stopped crying after biting off a piece of meat. She began to eat meat guts. For an hour, she actually swallowed a large piece of hind leg meat that was bigger than her belly. The little girl's pupils became a little dark purple, and she looked up at Shillong silently, as if she was saying, "Is there any more?" "No. Get ready to continue on the road." Xylem smiled faintly and continued on. The demon dog just provided him with less than 1,000 beliefs. It was far worse than the devil I met for the first time. This was not only a difference in strength, but also because Shillong gave the little girl some meat. During the period, they encountered monsters such as Magic Dog and Magic Wolf several times, and they all entered Shillong's stomach. Each increase in faith is only between 1 to 2,000. He did not give it to Hu Xiaodai. Looking at the other side's pitiful gaze, Shillong said, "You are still young, you can't eat too much, otherwise you will gain weight later. It is difficult to find a partner." Well, he was thinking about the other party, but he didn't mean to be reluctant to believe in. Chapter 320. Isn't it a devil? The woman muttered to herself, then looked at the man next to her, with a question in her eyes. "My nose is very good. There is no doubt that he has a strong devilish aura, like a devil who has just eaten, but the devil should not communicate with us so kindly." The man frowned and looked at Shillong. The right hand has been unconsciously pressed on the handle of the knife, entering a state of alert. "It seems that you are misunderstanding. I just killed a devil last night and ate it, and then in the daytime, I ate a few more beasts similar to the devil, so I have their breath," Shillong explained. "Eat? Ate the devil?" The woman was shocked. Humans actually ate the devil? How is this possible? The man on one side was equally shocked, and both of them took a breath at the same time. Since ancient times, only the devil can eat people. I have never heard of people eating the devil. This guy, who is it? Not only is powerful, but also dare to eat the devil. Is he lying? Is it true? Yeah, the taste is pretty good. It's similar to beef, and it tastes energizing. Xylem's mouth was slightly tilted, and he said with a thumbs up, "Cow. Beef. Gudong." The woman in black swallowed a saliva unconsciously. They often run in the wild, but they rarely have the opportunity to eat this high-class delicacy. This is a luxury that can only be enjoyed by the upper class of society. "Hey, do you really want to eat it? It's a pity that even if I have a chance, I won't give it to you. But I am not a stingy person. I can give you a small piece of monsters related to demons." Pretending to be generous. A demon has 40,000 beliefs, and he can't give credit to others. Although he is now accounting for almost 4 million a day, 40,000 is also belief. Shillong was still a little bit reluctant. Unlike ordinary monsters, there are only more than 1,000 each, and he can still afford it. "No, it's not right. Now I am not discussing with you what the devil smells like. How can that kind of food be eaten? I feel sick when I think about it." The woman in black reacted with an ugly expression on her face. Tisk people who don't know how to enjoy. Do you know? The quality of the ingredients has nothing to do with the appearance of the ingredients themselves. Many good ingredients are ugly, but you can't judge them by their appearance. Shillong wanted to continue, but the woman in black shouted, "Enough! Please stop talking." Hu Xiaodai, who was still sleeping, was awakened because of this loud shout. She opened her eyes in a daze, and she was taken aback when she saw Zero and the extra 2 people, and then stood up straight, standing aside docilely. "You should also be a demon hunter? Otherwise, it is impossible to have the power to fight the devil. But why are the clothes you wear different from ours?" The woman in black changed the subject. This strange guy, he didn't seem to be of this era in his clothes. He hadn't seen it at all, and the workmanship was so exquisite. "Demon hunter? What is that? Aren't you humans?" Xylem asked back. "We are humans, yes, but we are even more demon hunters. A demon hunter who was selected from among humans and then trained by your majesty's demon hunter group, specially responsible for fighting the devil. Protect humanity." The woman explained, but the horse looked solemn and stared at Zero. "Except for us, the devil is invincible. Since you are not a devil as an ordinary person, how can you have the power to fight the devil? It's really rare and weird. Why can only the Witcher fight the devil? Who told you this?" Xylem asked. "By the way, you keep saying that you are a demon hunter, but you have power far beyond ordinary humans. Where does this power come from? I don't think ordinary exercise will give you such a powerful force, right?" "I have answered this question before. We were trained by the Demon Hunting Organization. This is the secret of the organization. I can't tell you." The black woman said. "So right, you have your way. I have my way. There are many ways in this world, and there are more ways to deal with the devil. Xylem laughed. So you don't want to answer my question? No, I can answer your question because I am not a human being. Xylem laughed. The black-clothed woman and the man immediately warned. The knife in the black man's hand was also slightly out of its sheath. Don't be nervous. I'm not the devil either. Xylem waved his hand and said with a straight face, I am a god, to save this who has fallen into a miserable world. Huh. The black men and women were dumbfounded. What are you kidding? This joke is not funny at all, said the black woman. God is just the illusory belief of mortals to comfort their fears and anxiety. There is no in this world. There are only humans and demons. There really isn't in this world, Xylem said. But there are other worlds. Let me introduce it formally. I am the dragon from other worlds, Shillong. Other worlds? Dragon god? Shillong? The woman in black and the man in black looked at each other. Both draw a message from each other. The guy in front of me has a brain disease. Still sick. It seems I can't ask anything. The woman in black shook her head disappointedly. The strength of the other party is far above them. It is impossible to use other means. You can only wait for the task to be completed and return to the organization to report the information. Then the organization will report it to your majesty, and your majesty will decide. The woman in black turned her head and said to the man in black, Let's go. Let's continue the mission. Good. The man in black nodded. Just when the two wanted to leave, Xylem said, You too, wait a moment. Huh? Do you have any questions? The woman in black frowned. Your mission should be to eradicate the devil? There are no traces of the devil within 10 kilometers of this neighborhood. Where is the devil you want to eradicate? It doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? How can it have nothing to do with me? The devil is a rare delicacy. I am very interested in them. Xylem laughed. Take me. You saw my strength just now. At least it's safer together. The black-clothed men and women looked at each other again, and their eyes exchanged in the void for a while. The woman in black shook her head and said, Thank you for your kindness, but this is the task given to us by the organization. It has nothing to do with you. The black-clothed woman said, turned around and left with the black-clothed man. Xylem looked at them and whispered softly, I'm really stubborn enough. I'm so bad at strength, I don't even want to help. Seeing this, Hushao lay on the ground again without saying a word, as if he was going to continue sleeping. But Shillong stretched out his hand and sucked her from the ground. Then she was caught under the armpit. Her figure flashed and disappeared. Separating from Shillong, the men and women in black continued to run without a word, until 3 hours later, they came to a small town. This small town seems to have 60 or 70 families. Use a wooden fence to enclose a wooden fence more than 3 meters high. That's it. The black-clothed woman whispered to herself, then turned to ask the black-clothed man next to her, Is the devil's breath still inside? Suck. Suck. Yes. There is still a strong smell of blood. The black-clothed man's eyes were fixed. These craps. The black woman gritted her teeth. She knew what the smell of blood meant. With a leap, he jumped into the wooden fence, and then ran into the village. And the man in black followed closely behind. The two didn't go far in the village, and they saw a creeping devil who was eating humans at the door of a family. Every devil has his own unique hobby when tasting human beings. For example, some demons like to break into human homes and eat him up in front of his family. Some demons will use their basic abilities as the devil to seduce humans, lure humans out of the room and eat them, so that their screams will resonate in the village. Some demons will let the prey escape, and the meat quality of the prey will change slightly after running. I heard that it will taste more delicious. The devil in front of him may be of the second kind. Part 2. Damn it. The woman in black saw the scene in front of her, and her eyes immediately burned with a raging fire. With a cry of Tsong Lang, the Tang Dao on his waist came out of its sheath. Under the icy and weird moonlight, a cold light slashed straight towards the devil's head. Contact. The devil who had bowed his head and nodded him instantly raised his head. There was only one eyeball on its head, and its mouth was very big, cracking directly behind its ears. Contact. The devil screamed when he saw the demon hunter, and stretched out his black paws directly at the blade of the woman in black. Frame. The clash between the two made a sound of golden and iron. The woman's knife followed the devil's arm and slashed towards its forehead again. But immediately he was swept away by the devil's other hand. This devil took this opportunity and jumped directly back, jumping to the small wooden house that was only 2 or 3 meters high behind him. A single eye stared at the two men and women in black with a bad expression. It turned out to be you in black. How dare you come to hinder this demon from eating? I have decided. The remaining stomach pouch today will be used to hold the two of you. Damn devil. Today is your 4th phase. The black-clothed woman roared, holding the knife under her feet, and then jumping to the one-eyed demon, and slashed out again. Frame. The one-eyed monster's tough claws collided with the black woman's knife again. Call out. Another cold light rushed forward, and the man in black slashed it almost at the same time. Frame, 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 frame. One demon against two demon hunters. Knives and claws are constantly colliding. In the silent night, the sound of metal clinking became clearer. But in the whole village, no one dared to come out to see the situation. The fierce battle lasted for several minutes. The two-on-one Witcher had the upper hand steadily, but he did not cause any harm to the one-eyed monster. On the contrary, the more time passed, it was not good for the human demon hunter. Compared with physical fitness, humans are not the devil's opponent. The wind and thunder. The third cut. Thunder. The black-clothed woman's ordinary tricks were invalid, and she took a deep breath, and a blue arc flashed on the black blade. She pressed her feet slightly. Bump. In an instant, the woman in black disappeared before the eyes of the one-eyed devil. A great crisis enveloped the one-eyed devil. Let it instinctively use its claws across the front of its neck. Excited. With a roar, a blue light flashed, and the black-clothed woman had already appeared behind the one-eyed devil. Her tang sword was horizontally in front of her chest, and the sharp blade brought a trace of purple blood. A hideous claw was cut open by a knife. Fly in the air. Come on. The one-eyed devil cried out painfully. Rapid wind and thunder. Second cut. Wind flash. The black man's tricks followed immediately. There are wisps of breeze around his blade. When he stabbed with a sword, the invisible wind blade stab instantly hit the one-eyed devil's head. Bump. With a soft sound, the thick skin on the front of the one-eyed devil's head was broken. Pieces of tiny broken bones were thrown away. The entire skull was blasted out of a small pit. Abominable demon hunter. The one-eyed demon was startled, but fortunately the skull of the demon was thicker than the average demon. Replaced by a normal devil, this sword must pierce through the skull and break the brain. Taking advantage of the two demon hunters having just used their tricks and the aura was scattered, the one-eyed devil rushed to the left immediately. He was ready to escape. Although their demons can be resurrected in the magic pool, they will have a long period of weakness after resurrection, and their strength will decline. The devil with a little strength will not allow himself to die, because among the devil, strength is status. The weak devil may even be killed by the powerful devil because of food conflicts. There is no status and safety at all. Damn it, don't let it run. The black-clothed woman yelled, and the black-clothed man hurriedly chased after her. But before they ran a few steps, they found that the distance between themselves and the other party was stretched. This devil is ahead of them in terms of speed. Even if one arm was cut off, the other party ran wildly without incident. Seeing that the distance is getting farther and farther, the two demon hunters are a little anxious. The devil ran out without knowing where to eat people. When I have information about it next time, I don't know how many humans will be killed in vain. Damn demon hunter. Wait for me. In order to repay your kindness this time, I will definitely eat more people to repay this kindness. Chat ha 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 ha. The one-eyed devil ran wildly, on one side. He turned his head and provoked the two witchers. But immediately, its expression freezes. Shit. A strange sound rang in the ears of the one-eyed devil Wuxia world. Online he felt a sharp pain in his neck, and couldn't make a sound even if he wanted to make a sound. With a splash, something seems to have fallen to the ground. The eyeball of the one-eyed devil moved downward. It was a headless corpse. Why do you look familiar? The one-eyed devil is a little strange, but it immediately reacted. That is its own body. Why is there no head on my body? It tried to peer down with its eyeballs, and found that it was empty. Tick, tick. The purple blood is still dripping. Why? Why is my head and body separated? Chapter 321. The one-eyed devil was a little frightened and a little angry. It reacted. With the strange chuckle just now, someone tore its head from its body. Who is it? Who can make it look like this without even reacting? Its eyes are turning, trying to see the murderer clearly. But immediately, the hand holding its skull pressed hard. Click. With this crisp sound, the one-eyed devil has lost consciousness. The two demon hunters stopped, looking shocked at the man who had just separated a few hours ago. This man just appeared in front of them at a speed that they could not see clearly. In just an instant, the one-eyed monster who was able to beat the two demon hunters without dying in a minute and was about to escape was killed in seconds. The proud expression instantly solidified, and the head and body were torn apart. The most frightening thing is that while this man is doing these things, he still has the little girl he has seen before under his left arm. Looking at the other side's right hand, the skull scum that has been crushed. The hunting men and women were speechless, and they reacted after a moment of silence. Shillong Soderbergh, is this the name? Although you followed us before and took away our mission objectives, I still want to thank you for killing the devil and saving the innocent humans nearby. Hey, the woman slowly put the knife into the scabbard and said, So, I wanted to be with you at the time, just in case your strength, obviously so weak, but so confident, makes me strange. In case this devil's strength is stronger, you will die. Fortunately, this devil's strength is weaker than yours, and it was beaten by you. But it runs faster than you guys. No, if I'm not here, it really ran away? How many innocent people will die? Xylan put Hu Xiaodai down, spreading his hands a little helplessly. You. The woman in black was choked. She wanted to say something to refute, but found that the other party's words were reasonable, and she couldn't refute it at all. It was obvious that their strength in the organization was considered mid-range, but when the guy in front of you said it was weak, they really had no way to refute it. The opponent's strength lies there. So, you still don't go hunting the devil in the future. Just leave this task to me. You only need to provide information. I will help you kill all the devil. Xylem suggested. In this world, his titanium alloy longan is not easy to play. If he can't see too far away, he can only rely on the natives to find the devil. This is impossible. Although your strength is strong, it is impossible to eliminate all demons with one person. Ordinary humans can't wait that long. Although my strength is a bit worse than yours, there is always a devil I can defeat, complete the tasks I should complete, and make some contributions to mankind. The woman in black said seriously. Oh. Xylem shook his head. These weak chickens are really stubborn. Forget it, there is no way to communicate with them. Let's eat. Shillong tore off one of the devil's arms and stuffed it bloodily into his mouth. The corners of his mouth split, and he started to eat to an extent that humans could not reach. You really are a demon. The woman in black looked at the cracked corners of Xylem's mouth, shocked in her heart. Is this a human mouth? The devil's arm, thicker than her arm, was stuffed in. The black-clothed man's blade came out again, staring at Shillong closely. Click Shillong bit off a piece of devil meat, and the corners of his mouth were full of purple blood. After hearing the words of the two demon hunters, he was a little dissatisfied. You two devil heads, don't talk nonsense. I have already said that I am not a devil. Kind of low-level stuff. I am God, savior dragon of this world. Don't want to lie to us. You are the devil. The woman in black thought of the terrifying speed and power of the other parties killing the one-eyed devil before, sweating slightly on her forehead and a little nervous in her heart. If you only turn your strength, the opponent's strength is far above them, but as a demon hunter, there is no reason to run away without seeing the devil. For the honor of the demon hunter, for the safety of mankind, even if it is dead, also die with the devil. The two demon hunters looked at each other without saying a word. One turned into thunder and the other turned into a violent wind, and it struck Shillong in an instant. Heske, dead brain. Xylem frowned. Boom. The air around him instantly became extremely viscous, and a huge gravity suddenly descended. The two protruding demon hunters were crushed instantly, their bodies stuck to the ground, unable to move. Well, they screams, the body began oozing blood. Pop, pop. Then the two felt a pain in their heads and passed out in a coma. Xylem stood on the spot, continuing to devour the devil's corpse. Hu Xiaodai, the little girl, stood on the side and stared at him closely. Her big eyes kept showing longing. You little girl, you are really special enough. If you don't be afraid of me eating, you still crave the flesh and blood of the devil? Are you not afraid at all? Afraid? Why are you afraid? Devil meat? Can people not eat it? Hu Xiaodai asked blankly. I don't know, but I won't eat it for you, he. Xylem smiled badly. Under Hu Xiaodia's enviable gaze, Xylem quickly wiped out the devil's flesh and blood. Until the end of the meal, Shillong discovered that the devil had provided him with 160,000 beliefs. Obviously, it was not much stronger than the previous 40,000, and the power of faith gained had actually doubled about 4 times. These demons, what kind of treasure is it? What is their flesh and blood made of? Shillong's eyes were a little bright. He is now more and more looking forward to the faith that other demons can provide him. These guys. All of them are outside blocks. It's baby. Especially the city on the northwest defense line. It was the only city within 100 kilometers of Shillong discovered during the day. The population there is estimated to be tens of thousands, and there are many demons hidden inside. I don't know where the supply of belief points, compare with the devil here. With such interest, Shillong picked up Hu Xiaodai and rushed to the target location quickly. Until the next morning, the two demon hunters who had been knocked out by Shillong slowly regained consciousness. They felt a little noisy around, and when they opened their eyes, they found that they were surrounded by a group of villagers. But they didn't mean to speak. Instead, they were silent, recalling everything last night. When they recalled the moment when they attacked Shillong, the invisible and terrifying force, they had lingering fears. They have no idea what happened to them, only know the strength of the two. The difference is huge. What level of devil is this? Why should he claim to be the dragon god? Why kill the devil? Many questions lingered in their minds. However, They quickly made up their minds to report the incident to the organization and slowly propped up their aching bodies. Among the villagers who had been onlookers at this time, an older elder cautiously said, "Two. Are the two demon hunters adults?" "Yes." The black woman nodded. "Fruit. It really is the demon hunter." The old villager was a little happy. "Is the demon hunter here to hunt the devil?" "The sound of the battle last night. Is it the adults fighting the devil?" "That kill? Apis devil. Was the Lord killed?" "API?" The woman in black looked through the villagers and looked at the half-remaining corpse not far away. "It should be him. Yes, that devil has been wiped out by us. Please rest assured." "Thank you so much, Lord Demon Hunter." The old villager happily said, "Last night we heard the roar of the devil, and we were terrified in our hearts. Fortunately, an adult was there to clean up the devil, otherwise, the tragedy of 6 years ago may be repeated again. These are our responsibilities. Well, we have to leave too." After the black-clothed woman finished speaking, she limped and left with the black-clothed man. Part 2. The villagers looked at the appearance of the two demon hunters and thought it was caused by the fierce battle with the devil, and they were more grateful to the demon hunters one by one. At the same time, Shillong also came to the destination. That populous city. There are no city guards, no fences, and there are not too many people on the streets. They are all dressed in linen clothes, straw shoes and linen shoes on their feet. No one will pay attention to the arrival of Shillong and Hu Xiaodai. Led by Shillong, the two went straight to the edge of the city. There is a cemetery, a huge, completely indoor cemetery. The door was tightly closed, and there was a figure completely covered by the cloak at the door. After Xylem and Fluttershy approached here, the man in the cloak said, "This is a cemetery. If someone at home is dead, just send it over. We will help you arrange a place inside. If there is nothing wrong, don't go near here. After all, this is the habitat of the dead, and it will not be too friendly to the living." The man in the cloak had a very unpleasant voice, like two pieces of metal rubbing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16, 17, 18, 21, 22. A total of 22. Westlong ignored what the other party was saying. Instead, he stared at the closed door and kept counting. "What are you? Counting?" The cloak said in a daze. "Count the demons like you. There are a few in total." Xylem replied softly. The person in the cloak was taken aback, and then said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. Don't admit it. It doesn't matter." Shillong said to himself. Boom. A blast sounded, the head of the man in the cloak burst suddenly, and a large swath of blue liquid scattered from the bursting part. This unlucky devil doesn't even know how he died. The headless body fell to the ground with a sound. "You wait here, I'll go inside." Shillong looked at Hu Xiaodai beside him. "Woo, I want to go in with you." The little girl shook her head. "I like obedient children, and disobedient children I will throw her away." Xylem stared at the little girl silently. Although her vision was blocked by sunglasses, Hu Xiaodai could still feel Shillong's gaze. The two stared through the sunglasses for a minute. Hu Xiaodai said, "Then, you have to come out quickly?" "Yeah," Xylem replied. A few steps came to the body of the dead devil, and while opening the door, dragged the body of the devil into it. Inside the big wooden house, there are many graves here. Without the slightest sunlight shining inside, the whole room looked gloomy and terrible. More than 20 different-looking demons gathered in the middle, like a dinner party, sharing a pile of meat on the table. The meat was torn into pieces, and it was difficult to tell what kind of meat it was. There was also a barrel of wine next to it, and the demons poured wine into their mouths while eating meat. One of them had 3 eyes, and a 2-meter-high dog-shaped devil swallowed a piece of meat and said, "This kind of refreshing party is really rare. I guess it will take another year for the next time. I really don't know why the great demon of Angoda restricts our food." Didn't the great demon of Angoda say it? This is to allow human breeding to keep up with our eating, otherwise we would eat humans to extinction. Then don't we have to starve to death? There are people in this world. We will have the devil. Without people, what do we eat? What to drink? The great demon of Angoda said, "This is called the food chain. This is called natural ecology. Do you understand?" A devil with 6 arms explained, "I don't understand these things. It's too difficult to understand. I just want to eat as much as I want, eat when I'm hungry, and eat when I want to eat. Now it makes me so uncomfortable." The dog-shaped devil complained. He. Then you go and eat, as long as you are not afraid of the great demon Angoda." The 6-armed devil sneered. The dog-shaped demon shivered, obviously thinking of something bad, and without speaking, he continued to lower his head and gnaw at the meat. When the 6-armed devil saw that the dog devil didn't speak, he laughed and raised the glass in his hand and said, "Everyone, let go of it. Food for 35 people. Have a good chat. Don't question the decree of the devil." Squeaky the 6-armed devil's words were interrupted. It frowned unpleasantly, turning its head to the door and said, Mu Luo, you are on duty today. Why are you still entering? Halfway through, Yu read www.uukangshu. The words of the calm six-armed devil stopped again. The whole demon face was a little stunned. It looked at the man at the door and silently closed the door after coming in. This man is tall and strong among humans, with a strange thing on his face, covering his eyes and half of his face. Mu Luo? The man who came suddenly said. He lifted the corpse in his hand. Are you talking about this devil? All the demons looked down and looked at the headless corpse still spraying blood. Their complexion changed. Which devil are you? Why kill Mu Luo? The six-armed devil asked with a sullen face. He instinctively felt that the other party was not a human, because he didn't believe that a human dared to single-handedly enter their lair, and he could be so calm when he saw so many demons gathered together. Which demon under the Great Devil? The Great Devil? It seems to be a kind of high-level devil, I wrote it down. The man who came suddenly said to himself. Like the audiobook, support any on Patreon, link in description. Chapter 322. Then the man seemed to see the pieces of meat on their dinner table and sighed. These meats were dismembered from more than 30 human bodies, right? That's right, 35. Why? Do you want to join in? The six-armed devil asked. No, I am not interested in humans. I am only interested in you demons, because your meat is very delicious. The man said, unscrewing the devil's arm named Mu Luo in front of them, and bite it into pieces. One piece, chew it up. The blue blood dripped down the corners of his mouth, making six arms and other demons shudder. All the demons are boiling. There is anger and panic in their hearts. Staring at the man cursed and roared. They have always used this method to terrorize humans. How can they ever be terrorized in this way by other guys? The six-armed devil's face was ugly and said, Damn, have you never heard that the devil can't eat each other? This is the rule set by all the big demons. You broke the rule. You guy, are you not even afraid of the big devil? You should all be delicious. I am looking forward to your taste. The man said to himself, answering the question. Damn, kill him. No matter who he is. I have to kill him. Actually dare to treat us as food. This is a shame. I have never received such a shame. A big belly devil roared. Damn bastard. Since you are not abiding by the rules, don't blame me for not abiding. Later I will unscrew your head and swallow you in one bite. Yes, eat him, eat him. The demons roared, and the dog-shaped demons were even more impatient. They opened their mouths directly, spit out a series of purple liquid, and flew towards the man in the distance. But when he approached 1 meter in front of the man, an invisible wall appeared, blocking the pool of liquid. The purple liquid slowly slid down, making a chick sound from time to time, and it was very corrosive. You don't spit like that. Let me teach you how to spit. The man raised his eyebrows and opened his mouth. Before the demons could react, they heard a loud noise. Then I felt that I was drenched by some liquid, turned my head and saw that the dog devil's head had disappeared, and its neck was sprayed with red blood on a large area. Why? What's going on? A devil was shocked. What did he just do? How could Carrie die? The demons were extremely frightened. Pooh, boom. It was another demon whose head was smashed in front of them, and blood of different colors was splashed everywhere. Damn it, kill him. The demons were furious. The other demons also reacted, and turned into a man who threw an afterimage at the door. Ba 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 ba. Boom 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 boom. Just halfway through, the heads of the demons burst open, and among all the demons, only the six-armed demons remained. Its feet seemed to be sealed with concrete, and he didn't listen to it. He was a heavy-minded devil. When all the demons are in the forefront, it is the last one. Although its strength is the strongest, it is naturally cautious. Otherwise, it is impossible to stand out among the many demons and become the talker among these 20-odd demons. It is precisely because of this caution that it is not as dead as the devil around him. The cold sweat on the forehead of the six-armed devil kept flowing out. It saw it. The guy at the door vomited saliva. That pool of ordinary saliva, after spitting it out, is simply the most terrifying weapon, and it can blow their heads in an instant. This guy, no ordinary devil. It is definitely the existence of the great demon. What is the big demon you just mentioned? The terrifying man in front of him said. His words were so plain from beginning to end. Big. The big devil is the strongest devil who controls the local magic pool, and the real master of this city. You. What else the six-armed devil wanted to say. But the next moment, his consciousness plunged into darkness. On the other side of the city, underground, in the dim black pool, the black mist is lingering here, and a lot of flesh and blood is floating in it. The pool, which was originally calm as stagnant water, seemed to be heated by flames, and a large number of hot bubbles poured out, puffing out. It seemed that something was surging inside the pool. lasts for a long time. A blue paw sticks out from it, followed by arms, body, and head, all sticking out from inside. This is a devil, and he glanced at everything around him in confusion. Some muttered to himself, why am I here? I remember that I was watching the door, and I was still standing guard today. Six-armed them. These hateful guys are eating up inside. Wait, I remember that I seemed to see a man with a little girl in the end, right? That man knew there was a devil in the room. Am I killed by him? But why didn't I see how he did it? The blue devil was puzzled. Puff Lulu. After a short period of silence, the magic pond behind him rolled again. A dog-shaped devil crawled out of it. It shook its entire body frantically, shaking off the magic pond water, and gritted its teeth. Damn! Why did I appear in the magic pond? There was confusion in its dog eyes. Soon, one after another demons appeared from the magic pond. Their eyes were confused at first, and then they reacted immediately and began to curse. That bastard! He actually swallowed the same kind, and killed us all. Hurry up and report to the great demon of Angoda. Let the great demon Hall go down to clean up that bastard. The demon of Angoda will definitely make him regret doing this. Why are you all dead? The first blue skin to resurrect was a little surprised. It's the same as you. Was killed by that man. Damn, my strength dropped by 1/10 after this death, and I don't know how many years it will take to recover. A devil angered. Where is the six-armed boss? Is it still fighting the who killed us? It should be. The six-armed boss is the strongest among us. Maybe you don't need the great demon of Angoda. The six-armed boss will kill the bastard. Puff Lulu. The water in the magic pond behind him began to pour again, and the six-armed devil appeared from inside with a gloomy face. Six-armed boss. Are you actually killed? Some devil asked in shock. That guy is not an ordinary demon. It's definitely a demon-level existence. I'm not an opponent at all. Quick, let's report this to Long to take the demon. What? A devil of the great devil level? The devils were shocked. Go. Report the matter to the great demon of Angoda. The demons hurriedly left the demon pool. On the other side of the cemetery, Shillong cleaned up after killing all the demons. His head quickly swelled, and the dragon head appeared directly. The dragon's head was 2 or 3 times bigger than his entire body, and it appeared on his neck, looking really funny. He opened his huge mouth and inhaled slightly. The surrounding devil corpses were all sucked in. This time he didn't have any fine products, and he just got bored one by one. He glanced at his beliefs, and compared to before, there was more than 35 million more. However, more than 20 demons can provide more than 35 million, which makes Shillong more interested in them. There are many demons in this city. The head quickly returned to its original shape. Shillong tidied the corners of his clothes and went out. The little girl who shouted I stood alone outside. When she saw Shillong coming out, her eyes lit up slightly. Brother Shillong, have you killed all the demons inside? Yeah, none left. Big brother, you are really amazing. The little girl gave a long-lost smile. Then, so many devils, can you give me some meat? She looked at Shillong pitifully, like a child without food. No, I have eaten all those. Huh. The little girl was shocked, glanced at Shillong's stomach, and said with an expression of admiration, Big brother Shillong really is the best. Okay, it's time to go to the next location. Shillong took the little girl by the hand and walked to the other side of the city. Until half an hour, he stayed outside a luxurious wooden villa. There is also a fence around it, as well as some ordinary houses. Part 2. This is arguably the best house in the whole city. At first glance, only the rich can live. 2 guards in leather armor stood guard at the door. Many people were busy inside. Some were clearing garbage in the other yard, and some were trimming flowers and branches. It looks harmonious and warm. Shillong took Hu Xiaodia's hand and walked to the door. The 2 guards each stretched out a hand to stop Shillong. Stop. This is the residence of Lord Onlua, and no one can enter. There is a devil in it. Asylum whispered. What? There is a devil? The 2 guards were instantly shocked and looked inside in horror. But immediately, he looked ugly and said to Asylum, Don't talk nonsense. How can we have a devil here? Lord Onlua, but every month he will invite a demon hunter to come and kill the devil. Really, there are more than one. So many. There are actually 24. Those who have just been killed by me are actually resurrected. Asylum whispered. What are you talking about? How could there be so many demons here? Get out. Get out. You lunatic. While the guard was horrified in his heart, he believed that Shillong was a lunatic and shouted, wanting Shillong to be far away. That won't work. Asylum was talking, and he walked in with the little girl's hand. He took a step, and the gentle repulsion directly pushed the 2 guards apart. While the 2 guards were horrified, they still did not forget their duties, desperately trying to get close to Shillong and stop him, but it was useless. Instead, they followed Shillong into the wooden fence. This vision attracted the attention of the workers inside, who looked at the two guards a little puzzled. "Asshole, stop for me. Don't go inside," the guard shouted in surprise. Shillong was walking in the direction of the most luxurious house, and it was also the residence of peace. "Stop. Lord Onlua doesn't like people approaching his residence. He will be angry. Damn. Please stop," the guard shouted to the end, with some crying. "Everyone, come and help. Stop him. Otherwise, Lord Onlua will be angry," another guard shouted. The other workers awakened from a dream and rushed to stop them, but without exception, they were blocked by invisible force when they were about 3 meters away and could not stop Shillong's footsteps. Boom. The door of the luxurious wooden house in front of him suddenly burst open, and Shillong continued to walk forward. Onlua residence, inside the house. In a spacious room, there are more than 20 demons of various forms gathered here. These demons are sitting on the ground honestly, surrounding a human in the middle. They were the demons who had just been killed by Shillong and resurrected from the underground magic pool below this house. Just now, they cleverly came to the man's body, explaining everything that happened after meeting Shillong. At this moment, he was carefully watching the expression of the man in the middle of the field. Even breathing is clearly audible. The man in the field, who looked less than 30, had a handsome face, with long black hair draped behind his head, his eyes closed tightly, as if he was thinking deeply about something. After a long time, he opened his black eyes and scanned the demons. A big demon unexpectedly came to my sight for no reason and committed the devil's taboo. Does he want to die? Please also the great demon of Angoda to eradicate this demon. Revenge for us? A demon whispered. The other demons stared at the great demon known as Angoda. Shut up to me. I still need you to teach me when I do things. You want to die too? Angoda looked unhappy. A terrifying mental pressure was pressing on the devil who had spoken before. Wow, the devil whispered and fell to the ground, struggling desperately with his hands around his neck. Other demons saw sweat on their foreheads. Angoda closed his eyes again and began to think. Time slowly passed, and suddenly, a blast sounded from the other side of a room. Angoda suddenly opened his eyes, stood up expressionlessly, walked out of the room, and when he came to the outer room, he went around a screen and looked towards the door. The door there has been violently blasted open. A man with a weird blinder walked in slowly with a little girl. Outside the house, those trash humans seemed to be cut off by some invisible force. The appearance of trying to stop each other, but unable to do it, seemed extremely ridiculous. Seeing this scene, Angoda's eyes are set on the current man. This man seems to be the big devil who killed the demon eater in the previous group of waste. Who are you? Why did you break into my home for no reason? He asked, then turned his head to the servants outside the house and said, What's the matter with you? Just let an irrelevant person come in? Don't you know I hate others who enter this house? Angoda's complexion is even worse. When the servants saw this, they were all panicked. My lord, please, forgive me. This man has a demon method. We can't get close to him at all. Sir, look. A guard spoke to prove himself. He jumped hard and hit Shillong, but as if hitting an invisible iron block, it slid to the ground with a cry. You incompetent idiots. Get out of me. I don't need your waste. This house doesn't need you either. Angoda frowned. No, Lord Onlo, we are innocent. We have done our best. Please, don't let us leave here. There are 80 mothers in my family. There are 6-year-old children. All rely on me to support. Hope Master Onlua will show your favor. Let me keep working. A servant knelt down and pleaded. The other servants also knelt and pleaded. Get away from me, or don't blame me for being rude. Angoda didn't move at all. You people, if you can leave, leave as soon as possible, otherwise you may die. At this moment, the man who was hated by the servants spoke. Fuck, it's all your fault. You demon. Use demon methods to forcefully break into Lord Onlua's mansion. It's the most thing. People like you. You will meet the devil. A servant issued the most vicious curse in the world. Oh. The man looked at the servant who was talking and said with joy on his face, Thank you for your blessing. I also hope that I can meet the devil every minute and every second. This way I don't need to find it. The servant on one side was completely stunned when he heard this. This guy really has a pit in his head. Who is not afraid of the devil? Just as they thought about it, an invisible force directly pushed them a few meters away, keeping them away from Onlua's house. Are you the demon of which city? Why did you come to my city for no reason? Also violated the prohibition law? Devour the same kind. Are you not afraid of that one who will kill you? Angoda is also in Luo, and his voice is low. Speaking of that one, it showed a deep jealousy. That one? Who is it? The man in front of him asked. Are you kidding me? It's not funny at all. Angoda said in a daze. No, I'm not joking. I'm older and have a bad memory. The man in front of him shook his head helplessly. Angoda stared at the man in front of him and finally said, "Are you serious?" "Of course. I have always had a bad memory. You are not the devil?" "No. A piece of food. Do you dare to appear in front of me with such an arrogant attitude? Looking for death." Angoda's complexion changed suddenly. The clothes on his body broke, and he changed from a human to a hydra of the same size. Hiss. In an instant, the 9 snake heads stretched out indefinitely, suddenly protruding out, biting into the throat, heart, hands, and feet of the man in front of him, and other parts. Useless. The man in front of Angoda gave a soft drink. The huge repulsion smashed the heads of 9 snakes in an instant, together with the whole house. The pieces of wood flew everywhere. Even all the demons inside were blown out. Boom, 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 a roar. It means that the devil was hit by a huge repulsion into a wall or house on one side. The ordinary humans who still stayed in the mansion were stunned by the sudden change. Part 3. They looked at these big demons who suddenly appeared and were beaten into flight, and their legs became weak. They didn't see the lake wherein Luo turned into a hydra in the house, but this did not prevent them from guessing. These demons all seem to have flown out of Master and Luo's room, right? Doesn't Master and Luo invite the demon hunter to kill the devil every month? Why are there so many demons in his house? Could it be that Lord Onluo has been controlled by the devil? The man who had cursed Shillong before was even more earthy. He had just cursed the opponent and met the devil before, and he would really meet him. This is where I met, but why can't you wait for me to meet again after get off work? Roar. A huge roar sounded, and the small house that was originally behind in Luo's mansion burst instantly. A huge monster came out of it. This monster is more than twice as tall as a 2-story wooden house. 9 huge heads dancing in the wind, each as big as a calf. Blood-red eyes stared at everything around. It is really an Angoda that has just been blown up. Devil, devil, what a big devil. The servants of the mansion exclaimed. They wanted to escape, but found that they couldn't move their feet at all. Their legs are already soft. There was chaos outside the entire mansion. Although it was remote, there was too much movement after Angoda's transformation. Passers-by not far away found something wrong here. Further away, a man in black who had been wandering suddenly turned his head and stared at the huge 9-headed monster. This is really spectacular. In Fengluo City, there are actually such monsters. He whispered to himself, and he seemed particularly peaceful in the chaotic crowd. The right hand has been unconsciously pressed on the blade. Are you going to go to deal with this kind of devil? If you do, there is a high probability that you will die. This level of devil is definitely not something a demon hunter can deal with. But am I going to back down for it? Abandon your vows? Do not. I must go. When this man in black moved, he turned into a shadow to kill the 9-headed devil. The huge hydra demon, 9 pairs of eyes stared at the man with a little girl by his side. Miscellaneous. You successfully angered the great Angoda. Let me work hard to maintain my identity for hundreds of years. Nowadays, whether you are the devil or not, good for humans too. I will eat you. Roar, 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 roar. 9 huge snake heads roared up to the sky. The human servants around were bleeding from their noses and mouths, shocked by the terrible sound waves. The other demons who had been blasted into the ruins were even more envious when they saw Angoda's true face. This is the real body of the great demon of Angoda, a great existence that even the sun cannot suppress. So huge, beautiful, terrifying body. It is simply the most perfect masterpiece of heaven. Ha 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 ha. It should have been so long ago. The great Angoda demon. Kill the offender who provokes you. Kill all humans. Let them truly understand the horror of the devil. Hiding in the ruins Wuxia world. Online, the dog-shaped devil who has not been exposed to the sun's rays screamed in excitement, as if he was transformed into that terrifying snake demon. Then, it saw the great demon of Angoda stretch out 9 huge snake heads and bite at the man who killed them. Because the speed of the snake head protruding out too fast, even the surrounding air made a terrible explosion. Several layers of sonic boom clouds appeared in the outer circle of the snake head, just when the demons thought that the man who killed it would be swallowed by the great demon of Angoda. Chapter 323. He-Man has raised his arm for some time. The next moment, the great demon of Angoda flew into the air with a more terrifying roar. Flew straight for hundreds of meters before landing crashing. Rumble. As the giant snake monster landed, the earth roared. This. How could it be possible? The dog-shaped devil's tongue was tilted to one side, and his eyes almost fell off. That is the main body of the great demon of Angoda. From beginning to end, a terrifying monster over 30 meters. The dog-shaped devil in the ruins has no doubt that the other party can easily suffocate it, or it will be crushed to death when it passes by. Was it such a terrifying big devil who was directly blown away by the man who killed it? What did that man do? How did it do it? The dog-shaped devil is going crazy. Suddenly, the man who killed it turned his head and glanced at it and said, "Is the devil's real horror? I still don't know much. Can you make me feel it?" Oh, it staggered back, buried its entire body in the ruins, plunged into darkness. I kept praying in my heart. You can't see me. You can't see me. You can't see me. Roar. The Hydra devil who was bombed out roared angrily. Damn chopsticks. It's decided. I'm going to blast you to pieces. All its 9 heads began to gather energy, and the dark energy began to gather. Poor and weak. In front of Hydra, the man who looked like an ant raised his palm again. The pressure of horror fell instantly on the body of the Hydra devil. The whole space has changed color. Boom. The huge snake body was firmly suppressed on the ground, and 9 heads were directly embedded in the ground. Hiss. Ooh, the Hydra devil roared in pain, and its entire body was almost crushed, and a large amount of purple blood flowed out of it. A head was even crushed, and Goda, the Hydra demon, fell into fear. You. Who on earth are you? How, maybe, with this kind of power? It used the power of its whole body, and its 9 heads roared at the same time. I am a god, a of dragons that ants like you cannot understand. Out of the corner of Angoda's eyes, he watched the man slowly approaching it, and the pressure became greater. His head exploded one after another, and soon only the middle head remained. And the man also walked in front of him, looking at the other person's slowly raising arm. Angoda was shocked. Wait, there must be some misunderstanding between us. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? The man asked, puzzled. You let me go. Just as if nothing happened. You think, in this city, whatever, everything, even if, you continue, go devour, those lower demons, can also be not seen. Angoda, the devil of Hydra, said intermittently, do you know what my purpose is? The man standing in front of the last head of Angoda squatted gently and stroked its head with his hand. I do not know. Actually, I just want to eat all of your demons, or be eaten by your demons. There is no other meaning, do you understand? The man said softly. Why? Then why do you demons want to eat people? Because human meat is the most delicious. Yes, for the same reason, you demons are also the most delicious food for me. The man in front of him laughed. Under the blue sunlight, Angoda felt extremely horrible. The man silently took off the dark thing on his face, allowing Angoda to see the man's eyes. That is an eye that makes it more annoying than the sun. Around the dark, almond-shaped pupil, the scattered stream of golden particles made it uncomfortable. This feeling is like the feeling when it was illuminated by the sun once week. Let it think of too many bad places. Oh yeah, the man in front of him whispered, and wiped the scarlet gold saliva just left under the corner of his mouth. Sorry, I was drooling when I saw the delicious food. It's really shameful. The man seemed a little embarrassed when he spoke. Can't kill if you really do it to me, all. The big demon will kill your. Angoda did the last struggle. Then I will be very happy to welcome them. You are all the most precious ingredients. The man smiled lightly. His entire face began to become hideous, and gradually turned into a monster resembling a lizard's head. Then, under Angoda's eyes, the head began to swell. Under Angoda's shocked eyes, it swelled to the size of 30 or 40 meters. Combined with the human body before it, it looks extremely ridiculous and dissonant. But Angoda couldn't laugh at all, because the monster had opened a huge mouth to it, and came to it. The dark shadows obscured Angoda, and at this moment Angoda let out a desperate cry, no. At this moment, it hopes that the solar energy that it usually hates will continue to shine on it. But at this moment, it is an extravagant hope. The darkness gradually engulfed it. Its entire body was held in its mouth by the monster with the head of the lizard, and finally the monster's mouth closed with a grunt. Angoda instantly lost consciousness. The black demon hunter in the city ran all the way, and he witnessed the monstrous power of the giant Hydra. Then I saw a huge head suddenly appeared, swallowing the devil of Hydra. Are these two super demons fighting? The black demon hunter guessed that people had already run to the battlefield. When he watched the head that swallowed the Hydra devil slowly diminished, and finally turned into a human face, he thought of too much for a moment. Can the devil become a human? How many demons are hidden among us humans? How many demons are there among the higher human levels? The birth of this question is like opening Pandora's box. Once it occurs, it cannot be stopped. The black demon hunter has mixed thoughts. He looked at the humanoid demon with his eyes closed and his face was intoxicated, and then at the little girl not far away. He wanted to save the little girl before, but now he hesitated. What if? This little girl is also a devil? Save a devil? This is really funny enough. The sword at the waist of the black demon hunter was out of its sheath, but he didn't have the courage to swing the sword at the humanoid devil who closed his eyes and enjoyed the food. It seems to have forgotten the original intention of coming here. The feet seemed to be glued, unable to move. After a long time, the humanoid devil opened his eyes. Oh my God! What a beautiful, dazzling golden eyes. The black demon hunter was amazed in his heart, but the beauty seemed a little hot, and he couldn't help closing his eyes. Ah! Scream after scream. When the black demon hunter opened his eyes again, I saw that the humanoid devil's head became bigger again. Those strange shapes. The devil he knew flew into the humanoid devil's mouth one after another, swallowed in one bite, until the last dog-shaped devil. The dog devil screamed sternly and quickly flew into the mouth of the human-shaped devil. Just when the humanoid devil was about to swallow it, it stopped. He pulled off one of the hind legs of the dog-shaped devil and threw it to the little side. Seeing you are so behaved, this should be a reward for you. The little girl happily took over the thigh that was bigger than her body. He smiled and said, "Thank you, Brother Shillong." After speaking, she opened her mouth, bit the dog's leg hard, and swallowed the meat in one bite. Oh, oh! The little girl screamed while clutching her belly, her whole body rolling on the ground, looking very painful. The humanoid devil looked at him indifferently, seems to feel the gaze of the black demon hunter. The look of the humanoid devil rolled over. The dog-shaped demon in his mouth hasn't been swallowed yet, still whimpering in his mouth, begging for mercy. But the humanoid demon seemed to have not heard it, his eyes focused on the demon hunter. What are you looking at? Did you notice me? The black demon hunter saw sweat on his forehead. Sure enough, I am about to die here. I really don't understand. Part 2. I rushed over bravely before, and where did the courage to protect humanity go? At this time, am I afraid to even launch an attack? The Black Witcher laughed at himself. The pressure in his heart increased sharply, and the veins in his hand holding the handle of the knife were violent. You also want my food? The face of the humanoid devil was a little unhappy. That's impossible. I won't give you a hair. Humph. After a cold snort, the human-shaped devil swallowed the dog-shaped devil directly. After that, I started to talk about things I didn't understand. Yes, a Hydra has provided me with 130 million faith points, and the other 24 devils are 1/10 less than before. Well, yes. After that, the humanoid demon stopped paying attention to the little girl who was wailing on the ground, but walked a few steps forward and then stomped her foot. Boom. With a roar, something seemed to be crushed by it. A pothole appeared on the ground, and the humanoid devil jumped directly in and disappeared. Huh. The black demon hunter exhaled a long breath. His back was soaked. He softened and almost fell to the ground, staring at the pothole on the ground for a long time. The black-clothed hunter felt like he was going crazy. He actually walked forward and jumped into the pothole. This is an extremely dark pothole without a trace of light. The black demon hunter took out a fire folder from his jacket and lit a small wooden stick he carried with him. The light brought by the flame allowed him to see everything within 5 or 6 meters around him. The downward mud ladder is about 5 meters away from the left and right, and all kinds of bones are hung on it. These white bones are human bones at a glance. There are skulls, finger bones, foot bones, etc. Like trophies, collectibles are on display. Make the black demon hunter shudder. He walked down cautiously for about a minute. Just walked to the bottom. With the light of the fire, the black demon hunter continued to look forward, and soon he stopped. The humanoid devil, lying on the edge of a pool, showed his hideous devil head, swallowed frantically in that pool. In the pond, there was a pond of black sewage, like water that had been melted with a pile of black silt. It makes people sick to look at, and the humanoid demon seems to drink extremely happy. Sure enough, the devil is something abnormal. He had the courage to measure here for a moment. It was found that this underground secret room was quite large, with a width of at least 20 meters or more, and the length could not be measured because of the existence of the black pool. When he finished the measurement, he found that the water in the black pool had been reduced by more than half. But at this time, a huge snake head came out of the pond. This is exactly the huge Hydra devil he saw before being swallowed by the humanoid devil. It's obviously dead, actually resurrected again. Why? As the demon hunter was thinking, the snake head suddenly opened his vicious eyes. But immediately, the snake head immediately showed a look of horror, because it found a humanoid demon lying on the side of the pool, constantly devouring black water. I saw it growl anxiously, "Damn bastard! Hurry up and silence me. Do you know what you are doing? Do you dare to swallow the magic pond built? Are you really tired of living?" The humanoid devil who bowed his head and devoured the black water ignored it. The snake head looked more anxious. "Damn bastard! Shut me up. Don't swallow. Shut up. Crap. You crap. Do not. No. Please. Shut up." Seeing that the black water in the pool is getting less and less, the snake head has become a threat from the beginning to a begging for mercy. But it was useless. The humanoid demon didn't pay attention at all, and soon the black water bottomed out. After the snake-shaped devil left an unwilling roar, the snake head that condensed only one quickly turned into black powder and disappeared. Ha 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 ha. Good thing. It really is a good thing. The humanoid devil who finished drinking the black water seemed very happy, raised his head that had returned to human form and laughed. A pool of water actually provided me with more than 2 billion faiths. This is my faith income for almost 2 years. Ha ha ha. I look forward to this world more now. The humanoid devil turned his head, just glanced at the black demon hunter, and directly stepped onto the mud steps. The black demon hunter didn't know why the opponent didn't kill him at all. Obviously, without any hesitation in killing other demons before, he followed again to the ground. I found that the little girl who had devoured the dog-shaped devil's hind legs had fallen to the ground, motionless. This girl, dead. She really is a human. Black demon hunters have heard that the flesh and blood of the devil is highly toxic to humans. Even dead? The human body is really weak enough. The humanoid devil looked at the little girl's body and sighed, then stretched out his finger. A golden brilliance fell on the girl's body. Woo! A whisper came from the little girl's mouth. The black demon hunter was taken aback, inexplicably horrified. What happened? Fraudulent corpse? The little girl opened her eyes, and the first thing she did was to continue to bite the unfinished dog-shaped devil meat. After swallowing it in one bite, he started screaming again. Hurry up! You are a human being? Humans can't swallow devil meat. Everything in their bodies is very poisonous to us. The black demon hunter couldn't help saying. The screaming little girl ignored the black demon hunter. Oh, is that true? Everything about the devil is highly toxic to humans? The humanoid devil on one side asked with interest. Yes, if you want to kill us humans, just do it. Why torturing this little girl like this? Oh, don't slander me. I only gave her the delicacy when I saw her being poor, and I wouldn't give it to ordinary people. Like you, please, I won't divide you a bit, said the humanoid devil. The black demon hunter was a little speechless. Why the devil said so strangely. And it seems to be very talkative. The black demon hunter looked at the howling little girl and cried for a few more minutes, then died. Then the humanoid devil resurrected the little girl with golden light, and then the little girl continued to bite, then screamed. This little girl is dead? The black demon hunter couldn't help asking at last. Yeah, she died just now, and then I was resurrected. Can you really resurrect humans? Yes. Why? You demons can master this miracle power? This world is really unfair. Haha. I started to despair of this world. The black demon hunter sighed. I recalled again that the snake-shaped devil, who was killed by the human-shaped devil, was resurrected in the black pool in the basement. These demons actually mastered the power of immortality. What a terrible reality is this? Can humans really defeat this monster? He had doubts about the words that certain people in the demon hunter organization had always respected. Devil? Who told you that I was the devil? You are not a devil. Are you still a human? Humans don't turn their heads into monsters like you. Forget it. It's really unclear to you mortals. Humans and demons are deeply ingrained in your hearts. But rest assured, I will get rid of all the demons soon and return the world to a bright future. There was a certainty in the humanoid devil's words. This made the demon hunter wonder if he had heard it wrong. In silence, the Witcher watched the little girl who died the third time in the past is resurrected again, and then ate the meat of the dog-shaped devil. This time just a few painful screams, and he survived, which surprised the demon hunter. Then, the little girl gnawed away the dog legs that were bigger than her in an incredible gesture. It's delicious, Big Brother Shillong. The little girl had a happy smile on her dirty face because she rolled too many times on the ground. Right. Part 3. The humanoid devil, known as Big Brother Shillong, grinned. This is an advanced delicacy that I can't stand. The taste is naturally not too bad. Let's go. There are still some demons who slip through the net in this city. I'm going to eat them too, so I can't waste them. Shillong took the little girl by the hand and passed the black demon hunter like this. Until they were far away, the black demon hunter still couldn't figure out why this devil named Zero had such a different attitude towards humans. He boldly continued to follow behind. Because of the fighting that broke out just now, there is no one near here. Turning all the way, the demon hunter saw Shillong stop. Then he stretched out his hand, and a strange-looking devil was photographed by him. Then his head exploded, watching the other party skillfully open the devil's belly and pull out the intestines. Then he split his mouth and swallowed the devil in a few mouthfuls, and continued walking calmly. The mood of the Black Witcher is complicated and difficult to understand. There are so many demons hidden in this city. Why does our demon hunter organization never have such information? He looked at the other side each time he walked a distance. He found out a devil that lasted for more than 2 hours. The devil who called himself Shillong found more than 20 hidden devils and swallowed them. Because he had no intention of concealing, many people have seen the scene of him devouring the devil. Among these people, some fear Shillong, because when he was devouring the devil, his mouth cracked unnaturally. Some people continued to look at everything behind because they were attracted. When Synopsis stopped completely, a dozen humans followed him. They all belonged to the courageous generation. Turning around, Synopsis said, "Everyone, all the demons in this city have been cleaned up by me. You don't have to worry about being threatened by the demons anymore. In the future, they will disappear forever in your world. In addition, please rest assured, I am only interested in the devil, and I am not interested in humans at all. So you don't have to be afraid of me." "No, there is no devil? Is this true?" Someone dared not say anything. Although there are tens of thousands of people living here, there are people who disappear for no reason every 2 days. They all know that the devil must have done it, but they have nothing to do. The lord of the city has also invited a demon hunter, but the devil is rarely found. There is no cure at all. Everyone is used to it, and even after finishing their work every day, they pray that they are not the devil's dinner tonight, instead of praying that the devil will be completely wiped out. This is terrible of habit. But today, a person Wuxia actually ate the terrifying devil in front of them. This made some of them dare to realize that the devil may not be as scary as they thought. In this world, it turns out that there are also devouring lives of the devil. Human. Is mankind finally saved? Someone muttered to himself, tears streaming down uncontrollably. This is the reaction that people have after seeing the light in hell. I'm Silent Soderbergh, the dragon who brings light to this hellish world. Worship me. Believe in me. I will eradicate all the demons for you. Until one does not stay. Shillong showed a sacred expression on his face, spread his arms, and made a gesture of embracing the earth. God. Is this God? I prayed for 30 years, the great dragon god. Have you finally heard my prayer? A human being moved to his knees with tears streaming down his face. Chapter 324. God, please accept my prayer. My knees. I hope Lord God will also bless us humans in the future. A human fell to his knees. Very good. For those who believe in God, God will also reward them. Shillong spoke, waving his arm. Golden light fell on these people. These humans immediately found that their bodies seemed to be purified. All of them were full of energy, and all hidden illnesses were gone, as if returning to the active and vigorous youth of their teens. This is a gift. You will be followers of God in the future. I hope you can spread my doctrine in the future. Unity, fraternity, mutual help, justice, compassion, humility. Sprinkle my glory on the earth. After you die, your soul will live forever in my heaven. Silren's body bloomed with golden brilliance, like the rays of dawn, with a reassuring power. This has strengthened the faith of mortals. Originally living in a world like hell, they believed in gods, but this was fictional and different. But now, God is right in front of them. The power of this light used by Shillong is actually the Lord of Dawn. I have to say that the Lord of Dawn deserves to be a powerful divine presence in the main material world. The power of his godhead, the power contained therein, is indeed very capable of deceiving people. And some of its doctrines also apply to these desperate people. That's why Shillong used the power of the Lord of Dawn to fool people. It doesn't matter if the fragments of the Lord of Dawn absorb the power of the godhead. Anyway, he can extract the faith in it. Shillong's behavior made the black demon hunter a little confused. He couldn't understand why Shillong did this, and what good was it for him. The whole person is stunned. Then, he saw this self-proclaimed flying into the sky with the little girl beside him, and his figure gradually disappeared. When the humans on the earth saw this scene, God's voice became even more powerful. The black demon hunter scratched his head. Let's report the matter to the organization. Let the tall one decide. It is said that after Shillong left this city, he quickly started hunting demons in the surrounding cities. Those big demons, magic pond, but the sweet pastry in his eyes. Next, he spent an average of half a day, one city, through more than a dozen cities. In each of these cities, at least there will be a big devil that ordinary devil speaks of. The power of these great demons is also the legendary level the most, and the higher ones have reached the level of the most legendary. It is a pity that Shillong has the strength of a demigod in human form, completely slinging these great demons. And every city will have a magic pool. Shillong swallowed all the demons and the magic pool, and the power of faith began to soar. When leaving the first city, throw away the 10 billion power of faith in the fragments of the Lord of Dawn's godhead just in case. At that time, Shillong had only 10 billion available, but now? A dozen cities sucked. The power of faith has reached 50 billion. As for the increased power of faith for the humans in each city, that's not much. Not even 1,000 in total. The main thing is that there are not many humans in each city. The minimum is 10,000, the maximum is 100,000, and there are only 4 or 5 million humans in a dozen groups. Most of them fear him. This is nothing to Shillong. When all the demons are killed, he will gather the humans together and manage them in a unified way. And when Shillong continued to the next city, in an underground secret room, there are more than 40 humans sitting here. There are men and women, there are old and young. They gathered together, their faces solemn, looking at an 18-year-old young man wearing luxurious silk in the middle. This young man looked very handsome, holding a feather fan and shaking it gently, looking very stylish. Zuli, are you sure you are not joking with us? Chi Yueching's great demon was swallowed by another great demon? Even the magic pool was sucked dry? Really dead? A kind-looking old man, with white hair and white eyebrows, asked the young man. This is natural. You should know my ghost and magic power. Telescope, right? Even if they are thousands of miles apart, nothing can escape my eyes. This world, to me, has no secrets. The handsome young man shook his feather fan and smiled. Of course you know, you are a famous among us. A glamorous woman in her 30s laughed. That's not voyeurism. That's the beauty of art. You vulgar demons don't understand it all. The young man frowned. He paused slightly while shaking his arms with the fan, and then he said, if it weren't for my telescope magical power, I can say that all the great demons here would be completely wiped out within a month, vanished from this world. Not one left. Huh, it's just a rebellious ghost. If you dare to appear in front of my Jiyan, I will definitely let it die. A tall, sturdy, red-haired man put his hands on his chest, disdainfully said, Master Jiyan, although you are the most powerful demon among us, with all due respect, you will fight against each other, and the outcome is particularly clear. The young man shook his head. Zully, are you underestimating me? The red-haired burly man's hair danced like a burning fire, and the temperature of the air began to rise. Don't dare. Great demon. I have a saved telescope picture here. I hope you can watch it. We will talk about it later. With a wave of the young man's arm, a mirror surface of water appeared in the void. This is what I discovered the day before yesterday when I was investigating Wang Mei's residence. Please enjoy it carefully. The young man Zuli said, closing his mouth and gently shaking the feather fan. I saw that what appeared in the mirror was a woman who was less than 20 years old. This woman was wearing a loose hanfu, with her whole body propped on one arm, lying lazily on the blanket. In front of her, there was a porcelain plate. Inside were pieces of diced meat that were not the size of a thumb. The woman used a bamboo stick to gently pick up a piece of diced meat, put it in the seductive red lips, and then revealed the intoxicating color and slowly tasted it. She just ate 3 pieces like this, when the 4th piece was provoked. The entire door was violently blasted open. A tall man with a girl appeared in the mirror. The woman's paranoia instantly showed a furious look. This is the state after being disturbed by yaxing. All the big demons present can understand. Just when they thought that the enchantment was about to do it, the man on the opposite side did it faster. Waved his hand. An invisible force blasted out, and the whole room burst open. Su Wame didn't react for a while, and was blasted 100 meters away and crashed into a wooden house. Then Wu Mei blasted the broken wood that was pressing on her body, presented his own prototype. A ferocious female devil with long hair, sharp claws and sharp teeth. The female devil neighed. Her figure instantly turned into 9 afterimages, and she slew the man who assaulted her. But the man just stood on the spot, with invisible power roaring everywhere, and the female devil would be beaten into the air every time she wanted to get close. The two sides fought for several minutes. It is better to say that the female devil was bombarded by the man for several minutes before finally finding a chance to break through that invisible power. Killed in front of the man. The female devil showed a hideous smile, but the next moment, the smile solidified. The man who had been standing still suddenly stretched out an arm and grabbed the slender arm of the female devil, then suddenly swung down. Rumble. Although no sound can be heard, all demons can imagine what a terrifying force it is. Under the devil's body, a big hole more than 10 meters deep was instantly smashed. There are horrible spider web-like cracks that are 100 meters long. With just one blow, the female devil spit out a puff of black blood, appearing weak. Then a scene of horror came. The man tore off the female devil's arm slowly, put it in his mouth and bite. The picture is here, and the ending is set. Part 2. Zuli stopped his telescope, sighed slightly, and looked at everyone. What do you think about this? A bold, reckless ghost. Even the big devil dared to swallow it. Poor and devilish, 5,000 years of life as the devil ends here. The female devil in her 30s sighed lightly. This rebellious ghost, who acts like this, is not afraid of that person's punishment? Or is it so brave that it thinks it can compete with that one? Said the white-bearded devil who had spoken before. It won't do it for fear of punishment. Interesting. So interesting. This courageous, rebellious ghost is stronger than I expected. When the main body is not revealed, the paranoia is easily killed. Even I can't do this kind of thing. Well, I was attracted by him. The big red-haired man is full of interest. So, why did you gather us? Shouldn't this kind of matter be reported to that one first? As long as it takes action, everything will be over in an instant, said the white-beard devil. Do you think I didn't report it? Zuri's face showed a sneer. The one who doesn't care about our life and death at all. He only cares about balance. Who made the rules and regulations on our body now? I reported the matter, and that one asked me to unite with you to wipe out the evil spirits together. How could this be? A dozen big devil died. Doesn't that one care at all? The white-beard devil was a little unbelievable. Of course it doesn't care. As long as it is there, don't we big demons want as many as there are? As long as it has time, the one who lacks the most is time. Julie said, since that one doesn't care, let us join hands, then we can join hands against the enemy. Catch that rebellious ghost. I really want to taste it. A red-haired devil stuck out his tongue and licked his lower lip. Swallow the devil? Jian, do you want to be a rebellious ghost, too? A great demon present frowned. Hey, that one didn't take any action to solve the evil ghost. This taboo is just a joke in my opinion. In that case, why should I obey? Jian sneered. You. The demon who had spoken before wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Zuli. Since the burning flame demon is interested, we don't have to stop it. The most urgent task now is to kill that rebellious ghost. Then what are we going to do? It's simple. I have already worked out the course of the rebellious ghost. As long as you stay with me quietly and stay for one day, the evil spirit will naturally fall into the trap. It's that simple? It's as simple as that. When you hide in the magic pond, when I stomped my foot, and there was the sound of the ground moving, you would immediately show up. Join me in besieging the evil spirits. This battle, we will win. He won't even run. Wanna run? One day later, night. Lianzhou City, this is a city of 50,000 people. After the whole night fell, it was shrouded in black fog, and there was no one on the street. Until a man took a girl's hand and stepped into the city. He had just entered. Without taking a few steps, his palm was a move. A ferocious devil was sucked out of the ground, fell into the man's hand, and then separated his head and body. By the way, after killing the devil, the man didn't stop in the slightest, and the invisible force dragged the devil's body and moved on. Every time we walked, a devil died and was dragged behind the man. In the luxurious room a kilometer away from here, Zuli, who looked like an 18-year-old, silently stared at the mirror that reflected everything in front of him. This rebellious ghost has the ability to see through obstacles, and I let the big devils hide in the underground magic pool where the enchantment big devil has performed isolation. Can definitely escape his eyes. Suddenly, as long as he came in front of me, I gently stepped on the mechanism under my feet, and the big demons below would immediately break through the barrier and encircle the Nigue with me. At that time, it will be called dead without a burial place. Let you run wild in my territory now. Looking at the man getting closer and closer in the mirror, Zuli swayed the feather fan while muttering to himself confidently. Soon, the man came out of his house, only more than 40 meters away from it. According to Zuli's observation, he will definitely move on and come to the open space inside the house. Only at a distance of 20 meters from it will the ability to absorb magic be activated. This is the accurate data Zuli has observed these days. And he, as long as this rebellious ghost continues to walk 10 meters forward, completely enter the encirclement of the big demons. You can directly step on the button, and suddenly, a group will attack, and the evil ghost will die without a place to be buried. However, the man in the picture suddenly stopped, and then there was no movement. Boom. Zuli found that he was sucked by a huge suction force and flew directly towards the opponent. It doesn't even have a chance to step on the pedal. At this moment, Zuli regretted so much. Why did he have to wait for him to get closer? Is it bad to be far away? If you didn't enter the encirclement, you didn't enter. What's the big deal? Why do you have to be so confident? But now, I can only do my best. It roared and revealed its true body. It was a strange devil that looked like a mirror. Above the mirror, there was a black mist. While flying towards each other, a human, devil's corpse appeared from it. A total of 30 or 40, after appearing, they roared and rushed towards the man. With the block of these corpses, Zuri temporarily got rid of the suction. The mirror body quickly floated to the rear of the room. Tisk, it's a pity. The bodies of these demons seem to have stinky. The man behind him murmured. The figure flashed, and the humans and demons who ignored the obstacles appeared in front of Zuli instantly. A fist hit the mirror hard. Accompanied by a scream from Zuli, it was slammed to the ground. Several cracks appeared on the smooth mirror surface, and the ground was also cracking. Damn it. You dare to hurt my body. I can't spare you. Boom. It was another punch on Zuri's body. The earth drama below shakes. Boom, boom, boom. Counting the punches continuously, the mirror's surface has been shattered, and the ground below finally collapsed. Shillong and Zuli fell into the underground chamber together, with both falling in. The devil in the entire underground secret room was taken aback. How is it different from what was said? Help, help. A faint cry came from the smoke. That was Zuli's voice. This guy. The vows I said before have dropped the chain at a critical moment. But it doesn't matter. As long as the inverse ghost shows up, here is its burial place. Wow. Jian reacted the fastest, and after a roar, he revealed his own body. A flaming lion with a body length of more than 20 meters. The fur of the body, composed entirely of flames, looks majestic. Other big monsters also revealed their bodies one after another. Monsters of various sizes and shapes instantly burst the entire underground secret room. They move neatly together and attack the middle ghost. A blinding lava storm spewed from the mouth of the flaming lion. A mummy entangled in bandages. The bandages were disintegrated, turning into the sharpest blade and shooting at the ghost. A weird creature with more than a dozen holes in its body, each hole spitting light, bombarding Nigue. Flames, frost, wind blades, soil thorns, metal storms, and light bombardment with 20 or 30 different super tricks, all in one attack. Next moment, boom. A terrible invisible repulsion blasted out. But there is no way to stop the attack of these monsters. Among these great demons, the worst is the new legend. The strongest fiery lion has reached the level of a demigod. Even if Sulfuron's former opponent, Sulfuron, Lord of the Flames, was brought to bear the damage, it would probably be enough to kill him. Seeing the attacks of the great demons broke through the invisible power. Part 3. The faces of all the great demons showed joy that ordinary people could not detect. But Zuri, the mirror devil who was pressed by Shillong, showed a look of despair. Am I going to die with this rebellious ghost? No, this is not the same as I thought. I am willing to fight against the rebellious ghost and die with it. This is not what I want. With this death, my position as a demon is lost. At this moment, how much Zuli wanted the rebellious ghost to burst out suddenly and resist this wave of attacks. But Zuli understood that this was just its extravagant hope, just as it closed its eyes in despair and waited for death. Wow! The inverse ghost in front of him roared. The body began to swell in an instant, and at the same time, all the tricks fell on Nimmo. Rumble. There was a terrible explosion. The entire basement was bombed. The terrifying turbulence and shock waves of attack elements spread to the surroundings instantly. Zuli's house is also on the fringe of the city, and this shock broke out underground. But because it is too powerful, it still caused huge damage to the ground. The first to bear the brunt is the little girl who Shaodai. This poor child has been thrown aside since Shillong and Zuli fought, and the place to stay is beside the underground pothole. The impact of the explosion engulfed her for the first time. The small body was directly blasted hundreds of meters away and crashed into a wooden house, losing its breath. This is how many times did Hu Shaodai die after following Shillong? The only thing to be thankful for is that this can tear the shock storm of ordinary people at close range and can't tear her body to pieces. This completely depends on the relationship that Shillong has been feeding her devil meat for more than 10 days. The little girl's body is much stronger. Many nearby residents were all killed by the impact and elemental storm. Thousands of people died at least this time. Those who were lucky enough to escape the catastrophe, even if they heard the terrible movement outside, have all been awakened and did not dare to make any changes. Still huddled in the house. This is the fear of ordinary people when facing the devil. They dare not go out to find out. Roar. There was another dragon roar. The huge storm directly tore through the surrounding impact and elemental storm, leaving the monsters inside clearly exposed in front of the great demons. This is a devil that has never been seen before. The scales of his body were pitch black, and strands of golden light were flowing in the gaps between the scales. On all fours, he looked extremely tall. In front of him, the originally tall flame lion looked like a domestic cat. This monster is at least 60 or 70 meters high. If you include the tail, it is about 150 meters long. With every breath, there will be a lot of sparks in the huge nostrils. The emptiness of the night was twisted beside the monster. The monster's eyes lightly swept his eyes and was stepped on by it. The mirror devil was about to break into pieces and said, "Thank you for the delicious food you sent here. It saved me a lot of time on the road. To thank you, I will save you until the last one to enjoy." You. What are you? What? Among our demons? That absolutely never created you, monster. Mirror demon's words intermittently. Even if the monster in front of him resisted most of the damage overflowed by more than 40 monsters was definitely not what it could bear. It was already half dead at this time. I'm the Jie you hit. You can't stop it. You can't violate it, the monster said. His gaze swept towards a big demon who was closest to him, who had become a little demented when he saw him. A probe of his forelimbs Wuxia World Online immediately caught the big demon and then stuffed it into the hideous huge mouth. When the terrible huge mouth is about to close, the demented demon woke up like a dream and let out a panic cry, "No!" Click. The huge mouth closed. This monster, in front of all the big demons, chewed the food in his mouth. Then he swallowed it and commented, "The taste is weak, even a bit fishy, not delicious. But for giving me 120 million power of faith, give you 60 points." The monster said something that was difficult for the big demons to understand, and the voice was extremely flat. But all the big demons present felt chills. Chapter 325. Damn chopsticks. Don't be too mad. A big devil does not necessarily mean strong. Like you, Lao Tzu has not killed 100 or 50. Die to me. The flaming lion roared. For hooves shook, and a large-scale flame lotus appeared in the void. The flame lion stepped on the flame lotus and appeared next to the monster's head. The huge beast claws engulfed the infinite flame and slammed it past. Songdang. Under a loud noise, the flames flickered at the intersection of the two. Like a small red sun burst out. However, this attack, the flame lion as the attacker, did not feel well. It felt like its paws were tapping on the hardest metal block. His body was numb, and he almost fell from midair. And the monster's blow was just 1 meter away from its original position. He shook his head slightly. The terrifying eyes stared at the flame lion. The huge paw sticks out again, trying to grab the flame lion. Roar! The flame lion faced the giant claws, and the flames all over his body accumulated a lot. Its body rose and fell, appearing incomparably hundreds of meters away, and a flame lotus floating in the air. It raised its head, and another hot lava storm swept toward the huge monster. Booming, unimaginable high-temperature meets low-temperature items. The sound of thorns, like ordinary water jets on the metal. Some are just the roar after the impact. The monster hit by the lava storm didn't care, nor rushed to continue attacking the flame lion. Instead, he opened his huge mouth leisurely and sucked hard, matching the invisible force before. There was a violent wind on the ground for a moment, and several big demons with a slower reaction were directly inhaled into their mouths, then chewed several times and swallowed into their abdomen. The monster said something that shocked the great demon. Chewing 4 different foods together, it feels like putting together 4 different pieces of meat. Some meat is chewy, some meat they are relatively dry, and some are fatty. For different flavors are mixed together, tut. It turned out to be another delicacy. Not bad. Not bad. The monster closed his eyes lightly, with a comfortable appearance, speaking the words that they used to only say when they tasted humans. Now that the roles of the two sides have changed, the demons discovered that these words are so terrifying. Damn, damn, we have so many great monsters. Can you really kill this monster? There was a big demon who was guilty of breaking. Of course you can. Kill him, the other big demon shouted. This is a toad more than 5 meters tall. It is very dark. After speaking, he opened his mouth and shot a black mist arrow at the huge monster. Snapped. The arrow of the black mist that could corrode instantly and penetrate the metal instantly dissipated. The dark scales on the huge monster's face did not even change color. The monster suddenly opened his eyes and swept his eyes to the toad monster that was attacking him, opened his mouth and sucked in the toad that was a full 200 meters away. Toad was struggling in the air in horror, but the suction power was too much than it thought, and it couldn't get rid of it. The body is getting closer and closer to the monster's horrible mouth like the abyss of hell. A big demon like a toad is anxious and shouted, You can't eat me. I'm poisonous. Very poisonous. You will die if you eat me. Let me go. But the monster didn't pay attention to it at all, and even showed disdain in his eyes. Until the big toad got into the monster's mouth, he was swallowed into the abdomen again in 3s or 2s. The monster said in front of the other big demons. Although the appearance is ugly, the meat is unexpectedly plump. Not bad. Not bad. Then, the monster looked at all the great demon Dao with a kind look. Don't worry, my teeth and my stomach are always good. No matter what material you are made of, whether you are made of material, or whether it is poisonous, whether it is strong or not, none of these will affect me. All you demons are the same in my eyes. I will taste them one by one, and will never underestimate any taste. The monster actually grinned and smiled after speaking. The great demons instantly discovered that their backs seemed to be soaked, and this kind of fear seemed to have this kind of reaction only when they faced that person who was angry. The monster in front of me is really terrifying. I won't fight anymore. I want to go back. I want to go home. A great demon cried out in horror. Turn around and want to escape. But it hasn't waited for it to take a few steps. A terrifying pressure directly pressed it into the ground. Rumble, it was inserted into the ground fiercely. Its bones shattered instantly, and its brain burst to death. Then the other monsters saw the monster opened its mouth and sucked the big monster who was pressed into meat pie and chewed. He commented, "Although the food was crushed by me, the meat, blood, and other sauces are mixed together. It still has a different flavor when you eat it. Not bad." Some big demons broke down and shouted. The flame lion on one side frowned and roared, "Damn idiots! Be sober. We are the devil among the devil. The great life called the devil. We are immortal. Why be afraid? After death, just resurrected in the magic pond." Yes, that's right. Almost forgot. Our demon. After death, we only resurrected in the magic pond. We don't need to be afraid. The demons shouted and raised their courage, preparing to continue fighting the monster for another 300 rounds. But among them, there is a colorful creature that looks like a snake, but it is pleasantly surprised. Yes, as long as you die, return to the magic pond. I don't have to face this terrifying monster. Everyone, bye. After the big snake-like devil finished speaking, it exploded with a bang. The immense power directly drove the two big devils that were close by 100 meters away and was severely injured by the explosion. Damn coward. I was so scared that I blew myself up. Many big demons were confused by the snake-like demons for a moment and yelled after they reacted. This great demon is simply the shame of the great demon. But don't tell me, because after the self-destruction, the corpses were gone. Then the terrible monster can't swallow them? Many big demons with relatively weak strength and relatively small courage have bright eyes. Then the rumbling explosion sounded continuously, unexpectedly blew one after another. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the monster who has been keeping a leisurely mind seemed to panic, and he cursed. The air in a radius of thousands of meters became extremely viscous at once. All the big demons who hadn't exploded just felt their bodies sink, and then fell several meters with the ground, and were crushed into meatloaf. Several of the strongest monsters that remained conscious, including the flame lion, were also crushed to the ground, unable to move. They can only hear the monster's irritable screams. Damn things. Just you rubbish. It's still a big devil? I see it as a coward. Suicide? Don't want to escape? Play suicide? It's not even as good as humans. Damn trash. I originally didn't want to spoil your taste as ingredients, but now it seems that there is no way. It can only be done. The terrifying monster cursed, making the flame lions couldn't help thinking. Would they also blew themselves up along with him at that time? But now it's too late to explode. Their bodies can no longer move, including the inner devil energy in their bodies, which can't be mobilized. How can they explode? They can only lie on the icy ground, listening to the sound of the monster's footsteps approaching gradually, and then lift a few of them still alive, throw them into their mouths, and swallow them one by one. Soon, all the big devils entered Shillong's stomach. Among them, the flame lion was the strongest among the group of demons, providing Shillong with 1.5 billion power of faith. This wave of big devil collection packages has provided Shillong with close to 7 billion faith power. At last, only the mirror devil, Zuli, remained in the ruins. Although his body was about to shatter, this guy still lingered. Part 2. When Shillong approached, Zuli intermittently said, between us, should know. What? Death vengeance. Can. Let me life? You have lived till now to beg me for mercy? Xylem looked at the mirror devil on the ground with interest. I have lived 5,000 years. I do not want to die. Death? You devil, don't you claim to be immortal? Why are you afraid of death?
Because
you will swallow the devil. The pool, the devil, the immortality lies in the soul seal, in the magic pool. So you know that after I eat you, I will go to devour the magic pond again. So I know that my death period is approaching? Yes, hey, I'm an old devil who has lived for 5,000 years, so he still asks me such a naive thing. Think about it in another way. If a human begs you to spare his life at this time, would you? No will. After the mirror demon said, he fell into silence. That's right, I won't. After all, it is a rare delicacy. How can I let it go? Shillong opened his mouth and sucked, then sucked the desperate Zuli into his mouth and chewed it away. Although it was all glass slag, Shillong tasted like crunchy bones. After eating the mirror devil, he glanced at the underground magic pool. The water in that pool had already been spilled because of the previous fights. The spilled magic pond water does not melt into the ordinary soil and slides on the ground like mercury. Shillong opened his mouth again and sucked them all into his belly, and it was considered that he had solved everything here. When he recovered and was about to take Hu Shaodai to enjoy the ordinary demons, he suddenly found that the little girl was missing. Slightly startled, she looked around, and finally found the little girl in a house that had been destroyed by the aftermath of the battle. Looking at the breath that the other party no longer has, the bluish-purple body, Siro's shrinking body, scratching his head in embarrassment. Ah, a careless one actually caused the little girl to die again. Well, fortunately, the body is still intact and can be resurrected. He murmured, using the godhead fragments of the Lord of Dawn to bring the little girl back to life. When the little girl opened her eyes and looked at the shattered wooden planks around her and Shillong in front of her, she blinked a little dazedly and said in confusion, "Shillong, big brother, where am I? I remember. I was by your side and saw you fighting with the devil then, and why can't I remember?" She was puzzled, feeling that the memory was fragmented. It's night after all. You, a 12 or 13-year-old girl, was when she was growing up. Maybe she fell asleep at that time. The wind is a little bit strong. I just blow you away. No, I just found you after I cleaned up those demons. Xylem smiled. His smile was very warm. At least Hu Shaodai felt very warm. So he smiled sweetly and nodded. Give. Xylem took a piece of devil meat and handed it over. Hu Shaodai obediently took it and started chewing, while Xylem looked at her silently. Until she finished eating, she passed a piece over. Hu Shaodia's eyes widened and looked at Xylem in a little surprise, as if asking how to give her a meal today. Before, I couldn't ask for it. As for Xylem, he coughed slightly and smiled. Seeing you are so well behaved these days, this is a reward for you. No thanks. Oh. Hu Shaodai smiled sweetly again when he heard the words, took the piece of meat and gnawed. Until she finished eating, Shillong asked the local residents to gather again, resurrect those who had been affected by death in front of them, pretending to be a stick, and accepted a group of believers. Then Hu Shaodai and randomly found a place to rest for a night, and moved directly to the next destination early in the morning. One day later, in a large city with a population close to 1 million. This city is much larger and more prosperous than other cities. Even if it is already night, it is still brightly lit. People come and go on the streets. All the black fog was discharged out of the city by strange magic circles, entangled outside the city wall. Outside the city, the darkness is abnormal, and the inside of the city are completely two worlds. Teams of demon hunters dressed in black will patrol the city in pairs at night. Not only is it looking for the devil that may exist, it is also about maintaining the security of the city. In the center of the city, inside a gorgeous palace, a handsome young man in a large hanfu sat on a wooden leading chair. Below him, 10 figures of different shapes and different clothes were kneeling down. These 10 people are also demon hunters, and they are the strongest demon hunters. It is the patron saint who defends the city in the hearts of millions of people throughout the city. On the clothing behind them, numbers 1 to 10 and 10 were engraved on them, representing their rankings. They are ghost killers different from ordinary witchers. Your Majesty, Silen Soderberg, who called himself a god, made another big move last night. According to intelligence, he fought with dozens of demons in Fenglan City. After completely destroying the enemy, he resurrected hundreds of human beings who were affected by death. This ability is simply unheard of. Your Majesty, I think we should send someone to Zhaoan as soon as possible and let him work together for the future of mankind. The speaker was a burly man with a stature like an iron tower. Even if he was kneeling, he was taller than the man sitting in the chair. The preliminary estimate is that the height is above 2 meters 3. There is a big letter engraved on the shirt behind him. This represents his number 1 position among ghost killers. The ability to resurrect the dead. Actually has this ability? What an enviable ability. A young man who looked only 17 or 18 years old, a little lazy, sighed with a 7-character man on the back. It's really hard to believe. But whether he is a human or a devil is still to be discussed. Everyone is a ghost killer, and the strongest demon hunter also knows the real existence of the demon hunter. Humans. In order to defeat the devil, they need the power of the devil itself, using their flesh and blood to secretly make a secret medicine that can be used for us, thereby gaining stronger power than the devil and fighting against it. Although that guy has been killing the devil since he appeared, it still doesn't prove that he must be the same as us. Maybe he is just a special devil. We can't trust him. Let him come to the city rashly. Your Majesty will be in danger. Another 25 or 6-year-old man with a blank face said. This man has a 3-word engraved on the back. Ah? No matter how strong the devil is, it is a big devil. Picking 2 of us at random is enough to deal with a big devil. Now that 10 people gather, what else is there to be afraid of? Said a 30-year-old woman holding a paper fan and wearing a little revealing dress. This woman has a figure of 8 carved on the back. Just in case, we still know too little about the devil. I always feel that something is preventing us from exploring the devil. The man with 3 engraved on the back. You. Although he is a good man, he is too cautious. Be confident. You are the 3rd strongest among all mankind. The woman with an 8 engraved on the back laughed. Compared with the devil, This ranking has no meaning at all. Man number 3 closed his eyes and said, "And? Don't you think it's too weird? That man, every time he goes to a city, he can pull out all the demons in the city and kill him. How did he do it? This is something that even our intelligence organization can't do. Every city, there are dozens of demons. It is shocking. I don't know if there are also demons hidden in the Imperial City where we are now." As soon as this word came out, everyone was silent. The brawny man with the 1 engraved on his back frowned and said, "Don't talk nonsense. This place is the Imperial City where your majesty is. There are also hundreds of demon hunters guarding us. How dare the devil come here to run wild?" Part 3. That's right. We are here. The devil just dare to come. We dare to kill. The woman with an 8 engraved on the back smiled charmingly. "I believe in your abilities. With you, I am naturally not afraid of the devil. All the people in the city are not afraid of the devil. You are the pride of all mankind," the young emperor praised. Except for the man with the 3 engraved on his back, everyone else smiled. "In fact, I already know what the earth said at the beginning. I have taken care of it," the young emperor said, looking at the strong man with a 1 engraved on the back. Then, he looked at the man engraved with 3, "Lei Dong, you are the fastest. Please leave for Pingmu City. This stranger who claims to be a should get there when the sun sets and make a big fuss. You are leaving at this time, just in time to arrive and persuade the other party to come to the Imperial City. Please rest assured, Your Majesty, your entrustment, I will definitely complete it." Lei Dong bowed slightly. The young emperor talked about other things with the 10 ghost killers, and then the ghost killers dispersed. The young emperor returned to his private room, came to an ancient general armor, bowed down, counted 3 heads lightly, and said, "Great ancestor, grandson has already followed your instructions. Let the subordinates go down and ask that one come here. I believe that when it gets dark, that one will come." Oh! A faint sound sounded, and 2 groups of dark light like eyeballs appeared at the original ordinary armor helmet, as if awakened. "You did a good job, my good grandson." An old voice sounded from the armor. "My ancestor, that guy seems to be out of control at all. He won't see through my disguise when he comes here. Will it kill me?" The young emperor said with some worry. "You are both a human and a devil. What can it see? Don't worry, as long as he arrives, you can go to rest, and then I will take care of it. I really look forward to his arrival." The old voice said, "My ancestor, grandson doesn't understand what you are looking for. Why can you be so excited? Is the ability to resurrect the dead?" the young emperor asked. "Resurrection of the dead? It's just a trick, my desire. You will never be able to understand if you don't reach my position, kid. It's good to be compliant with peace of mind. Ask so much what to do." The old voice seemed a little dissatisfied. "Sorry, ancestor. Grandson shouldn't ask so much." The young emperor's heart beat. "If you know what you are wrong, it's still my good grandson. Just wait till night. My long wish, maybe it will come true," said the old voice finally. It fades away. The strangeness on the armor also disappeared. The room returned to normal, and the young emperor looked at the armor in a daze. The 3rd thunderbolt among ghost killers Wuxia World online at this time. His figure turned into a purple thunder light, leaping over the wilderness. He had already walked 100 kilometers, and there were blinding monsters on the way, all of which were cut to death by him. Seeing the sun set right away, the sky became darker, and Pingmuching was in front of him. Lei Dong accelerated his pace even more, until after 10 minutes, he rushed to the empty town of Pingmu. Boom! A roar came from far away, that was the other end of the city, and Lei moved his figure and ran quickly. Until the destination, the battle was over, and that was consistent with intelligence. With a pair of dark objects covering his eyes, the self-proclaimed seemed to have just finished the battle and just walked out of a house. There was still some dark liquid remaining at the corner of his mouth, which looked a little sick.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card or directly on my channel. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.